to try and get some form together. You know, they've had a tough couple of weeks, so from that point of view, they're going to be looking for some form. Leinster, Leinster, you know, they're going to be excellent again. I'm really looking forward to seeing the back three. Larmour, Adam Byrne and Dave Carney. Thought Dave was really good last week, scored a great try, so looking forward to seeing those lads in action.
Yeah, the back three the same as last week. If you are just joining us and didn't hear me explain it to Neil Tracy a little bit earlier on, there is one change in the back row, in the pack, that is, for Leinster today. No Jack Conan, a shoulder knock last week against Toulouse sees him ruled out, but we do get to see the return of Sean O'Brien, who starts at number 8. Jake, would you subscribe to the view that it's something of a little bit of a free hit for Wasps today, and that, you know, when the shackles are off and they've got nothing to lose, they could be a dangerous side against Leinster?
Yeah, definitely. They're obviously stacked with talent in front of a home crowd. There's an awesome atmosphere building here. So, yeah, look, with nothing to lose, a lot of great players on their team, and a lot of pride at stake. You know, they'll want to avenge that return fixture earlier in the year. I think Leinster will want to be on top of their game to secure that home quarter-final.
So both teams are out on the field in front of us, as you can probably tell by the decibel level, which has risen considerably around the Ricoh Arena in Coventry, the relatively still new home of formerly London Wasps. They've made the journey north from High Wycombe, and we are getting set to go. Mike Adamson is the match referee, so both sides showing 5 changes from last week. Wasps were beaten away against Bath at the Rec, and they've made 5 switches. Leinster, of course, as we know and as we heard on Off the Ball last week, were very, very strong against Toulouse at the RDS, and it'll be the home side that get us underway here. The final match in Pool 1 of the Heineken Champions Cup is underway, and the ball is just on the doorstep of that Leinster 22, and it's in the hands of their scrum half for the afternoon, Jamison Gibson Park, who hoists up the first box kick. And it was well gathered in by a Leinster hand. Looked like Dave Carney over on that far side. And the kick down into Wasp territory will bring in the first line out of the afternoon. A change enforced at scrum half, of course. Luke McGrath forced off last week, and he's set to be on the sidelines for 6 to 8 weeks, which is extremely unfortunate.
That's a fantastic exit from Leinster there, being able to get out of their 22 right into Wasp 22 to start the game.
So the first delivery from touch for Tom Cruise over on that far side, the 2017-18 Player of the Year, former London Irishman. His career is moving in the opposite direction of Brendan Macken alongside me, really, with those two clubs mentioned. First involvement for Nathan Hughes and indeed for Elliot Daly, who just lost his footing as he kicked one down towards halfway, and Leinster looked to carry the fight back into the Wasps' half of the field. They've got so many potent strike runners in the backfield this afternoon. You mentioned the back three, Jordan Larmour. We get so excited to see him every time he gets his hands on the ball. He was excellent in the reverse fixture in October. Remember, Leinster scoring 8 tries and running up 52 points, but it was a contest for some 40 minutes or thereabout. Really, the sin binning just before half time of Lima Sapawanga changed the course of the game when Luke McGrath went in for Leinster's second try of the afternoon. Leinster have it, and they're putting it through the hands just some 10 metres outside the Wasps 22 as we speak, and trying to change the point of the attack and find a way through Gibson Park now to Ringrose, and he has a little bit of a dart on the outside, tried to find a soft shoulder, and Leinster recycle and put it through the hands quickly, and here is that man Larmour, and his dancing feet get moving, and he evades 1 or 2 challenges before he's brought to the ground just 2 metres outside the Wasps 22. Over the top it goes from Ross Byrne. He was looking for Dave Carney, who kept his width and was hugging the touchline. The pass though was a little bit awry from Byrne on this occasion.
You talk about Jordan Larmour in attack, but it's also, I love seeing Tyke Furlong when he's got the ball. You know, he took 4 Wasps guys to stop him there, and he charged 20 metres up the pitch. So yeah, and disappointing to see. It looks like Nathan Hughes is down there, and that's going to, you know, obviously a massive blow to Wasps and, you know, to England in the coming weeks. And, you know, I was, you know, speaking to Elliot yesterday, and what he said to me was it's effectively a dress rehearsal for him playing against this Leinster side, because so many of those guys will be playing in the Aviva in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, the Six Nations just a fortnight away, huge anticipation, and what a way to start with Ireland against England. Nathan Hughes, of course, a vital cog in the wheel, but not for too much longer, because he's headed off for pastures new at the end of the season. Signed up at Bristol for next season, and there's lots of comings and goings, lots of talk about the recruitment policy. Di Young, of course, saying not only that he was taking on very much the Ireland team this week, but also that they find it difficult to compete with the likes of Leinster and those with bigger budgets because of the salary cap, and that's a whole afternoon's chat to be had around that. But I was even thinking, you consider that there's 26 Irish internationals, current Irish internationals, in this massive, mammoth Leinster squad that we always hear about. I think there's only 2 that didn't come through the system. One of those is Robbie Henshaw, the other is Michael Bent, and that's an amazing stat.
Yeah, they have a great setup, I think, in Leinster. And we were speaking earlier about Robbie's departure there, and you know how inviting the system is, and the team, the culture that Leinster have, and you know, and I think we were only 2 minutes 39 seconds into this game, and Leinster have shown what they're about. You know, they're very clinical in getting out of their half, and once they have their hands on the ball, it's very difficult to get it back off them. So, you know, I think we're in for a very entertaining evening tonight, and hopefully Nathan Hughes can get up unharmed and make his way to Bristol next season without any hiccups.
17 England caps for the Fijian-born 27-year-old number 8. And he's gingerly back up onto his feet. Yeah, he looks okay. And you can tell just how important he is to this side by the reception that he receives from the Wasps faithful. They've had a tough time of it of late, Wasps. Lots of injuries. No Thomas Young in that pack today. He's been a vital player for them this season. Turns over a huge amount of ball. Nazim Carr in at the open side flank for him. So it's a Wasps line out just 2 metres outside their own 22, very close to us here in the commentary position. The delivery once again from Cruz is spot on. He goes toward the front of that line and he finds his target, and the ball makes its way back to him. And now it's a box kick for Leinster, and Dave Carney to defend right on halfway, and Carney took it really well, and he moves through the gears, accelerates away from 2 or 3 challenges. Did really well, the Leinster winger, on that occasion, and the ball now into the bread basket for Sean O'Brien. First touch for him, back in harness. Didn't expect to start today, called into the side at late notice because of Jack Conan's field fitness test, although O'Brien would have been champing at the bit to get back involved. So unfortunate with his injury catalogue over the last 18 months, 2 years. O'Brien, through the hands they go again, and Robbie Henshaw, good to see him back in harness as well. Hasn't played since injuring in a hamstring in October. And Leinster move at the full width of the pitch, and Byrne tries to send a little grubber through into the 22, and the ball is just out into touch over on that far side. But all the intent and the creativity in the opening 3 minutes and 50 seconds of the game being shown by the defending European champions.
Dave Carney there like a salmon out of water. It's great to see him back looking so sharp. Hopefully he gets the ball in his hands more.
His finish last week from the crossfield kick was ridiculous.
Absolutely outstanding. He could have been playing for Cooley in the GAA.
It defied gravity, and a sense of awareness, and to ship the tackle and ground the ball was exceptional stuff. It really was. So Leinster up and around that Wasps 22, and it's with Gibson Park, and he launches one infield to Henshaw, and then Byrne, and then they go straight and narrow to Larmour, who took it at a rate of knots. Gibson Park, and it's quick ball, and it's Henshaw, and it's through for Carney, and it's almost hits the corner flag down on this near side. Brilliant idea, good execution from Henshaw. A little bit lucky, if anything, from a Leinster point of view, that didn't end up in the first try of the afternoon.
I think Leinster might have spotted something in their preview of Wasps. You see the outside backs practicing the grubber kicks here in the warm-up, and that's the second or third one we've seen already in this game. So I'd watch out for 5 points there, perhaps.
So Wasps take numbers out of the line, and they go for Will Rowlands wearing number 5, and Tom Cruise finds him, and now they've got to execute an exit strategy from 3 metres out from their own try line. Plenty of bodies in there to make it a little bit more straightforward for Dan Robson, and he hoists one down towards Carney again, who takes it just 2 metres into the Wasps half of the field, and he gets it away to Larmour, and as Jake was saying, there's another one of those little grubbers through into the 22, and it's going to put Wasps on the back foot. It'll be a Wasps throw to a line out midway inside their own 22 on this near side. Okay, it's going full time at the John Smith Stadium. Let's hear about Huddersfield and Man City from Stephen Doyle.
Thank you, Conor. Well, you come to us here just at full time, and the scoreline is as it was when we left you. Huddersfield Town 0, Manchester City 3, the final score at the John Smiths. City never really hit top gear in what was a very comfortable win in which the home team barely laid a glove on the champs. A much changed Huddersfield team under caretaker boss Mark Hudson, lucky not to give away a penalty early on when Terence Congolo took Raheem Sterling down in the box. But the opening goal coming soon after when City full-back Danilo fired a shot from long range. Centre-back Christopher Schindler's poor attempt at a header deflected the goal-bound shot past goalkeeper Jonas Lusel in the 18th minute. The game never really fired after that, but City dominating possession to take that narrow lead in at the half-time break. Then 9 minutes after the restart, a Leroy Sané cross headed home by Raheem Sterling, notching his 10th goal of the season in the Premier League. A suspicion of offside in the build-up to that goal, but the referee gave it. And then not long after that, 2 minutes in fact, in the 56th, Leroy Sané, the provider, turning goal scorer, as he latched onto a Sergio Aguero pass to fire in to the bottom corner and give City the 3-0 lead, which they've seen out to full time. So full time here at the John Smith Stadium, Huddersfield Town 0, Manchester City 3 for Off the Ball. Here I'm Stephen Doyle. Back to you, Conor, at the Ricoh Arena.
7 minutes exactly on the watch, and Leinster have the ball on the 22. That's Larmour, it's wide to Carney, and he tried just to flip it out to the near side to Rhys Ruddock. He knew that there was a Wasp player coming down his channel at a rate of knots. He had to try and get the offload away very quickly. It just didn't go to hand, and the ball is in touch once again on this near side, and it's in the hands of Tom Cruise, who will try and deliver to that Wasp lineout, and they'll look to try and lift us. What a little bit of a mini siege at this point. They're finding it very difficult to get outside their own 22 and certainly their own half.
Great wing defensive play there from Josh Bassett. You know, he was in big trouble, came in, closed it off. Really good wing play.
And just prior to that, there was some good line-out work from a combination of James Ryan and Sean Cronin. So it's 2 out of 2 from touch for Sean Cronin. Meantime, Wasps have possession, and they're using their maul to get up to their own 22, and Robson hoists one downfield, and he will bring play just up to the Wasps' 10-metre line. The vast majority of the lion's share of the opening 8 minutes as we await the first score of the afternoon has been played down in this Wasps half of the field. As I mentioned, yet to win a game in this pool this season. They did manage a draw. It was against Bath in round 2 here at the Ricoh Arena. 35 points apiece it finished. But they've only managed to score 10 tries in their 5 games so far, and worryingly from Dai Young's point of view, they've conceded 22 against the top try scorers in the competition so far and the top point scorers in Leinster. Ryan, little no-look pass inside to Gibson Park, and then there's a thumping challenge over on that far side that brings the latest Leinster attack to a halt momentarily at least, and then it's good improvisation from Jamison Gibson Park, and he gets it away to Furlong. Furlong's brought to ground just on the Wasps' 10-metre line. Leinster monopolising possession here inside the opening 8 minutes and 40 seconds. That's a little bit loose towards Ringrose, who let it go, and it was beyond Josh van der Fleer, but Leinster still have it. They've managed to avoid a knock-on, and they're recycling possession time and time again. The Wasps, interesting, not over-resourcing the ruck over on that far side on that occasion. They're keeping plenty of numbers in the line. Now, was that forward from Ross Byrne? Very flat seems to be the indication from Mike Adamson, and Leinster can recycle a game with Byrne, and he gets it into Adam Byrne, his namesake, who's come in off that right wing to get himself involved in play, and they go all the way to Henshaw now, who's popped up in the wide channel on the left hand side. He's hit pretty hard in the tackle, and the ball is bundled into touch just shy of the Wasps' 10-metre line on this near side. Good pace about the game inside the opening 9.5 minutes.
Absolutely, yeah, it's good. It's you know, it's a combination of really good attack, physicality from Leinster, and good defence from Wasps there. You know, they stayed connected. Wasps tried to play a little inside ball to Sean Cronin, and everyone knows what he's like when he gets a bit of space. So yeah, I think the dam could break potentially sometime soon, because that Leinster physicality is pretty impressive.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see who does make the next move. You know, I mean, it's been all Leinster for this first 9.5 minutes. You know, will they be able to break? Will they be able to score, or have Wasps managed to hold off this attack, and can they start to build a bit of momentum? You know, I think Leinster have been fantastic, but that's, you know, the second or third era they've brought in now, and and I can't imagine Leo Cullen will be happy about that. So it'll just be a bit of an arm wrestle now. Maybe can Wasps get back into this game? They've got a little bit more territory. Can they get over that half and get some of those quick boys and have a crack at Leinster?
Well, we talk about the dam bursting. Let's talk about your game yesterday. Bristol taking on the Russians and running in, 14 tries in the end?
Yeah. I think we had a few points that we needed to catch Northampton up after their win to go ahead of them, hopefully. Well, we did eventually for the European quarter-final. It was a bit of a shame. I think NSI lost one of their number 8, who was a great ball carrier, one of their better defenders, to a red card, I think in the 5th or 6th minute. So, a team that doesn't see regular professional game time, they're not together full time, to lose a player like that was a bit of a shame for the game. But look, we've booked ourselves a quarter-final, so look, it's all up from here, hopefully.
New pastures for you, of course, this season. Brendan, how's things going at London Irish? Enjoying it?
Yeah, enjoying it a lot now, Connor. It's really, really good. Thankfully we're nine points clear at the top, but there's a couple of tough fixtures coming our way, so going in the right direction. England will be pretty nervous. They don't want to lose Joe Launchbury well, definitely not for the Irish game.
Yeah, it's going to be a HIA, I think. So when we resume after that relatively long stoppage, it's going to be another Wasps line out, as I said, just shy of their own 10-metre line. They won the last of their 6 English Premiership titles a decade ago now, 10 years ago. They did finish runners-up in 2017, and as the ball is delivered in from touch from Tom Cruise, it's turned over by the hand of James Ryan. So that's the first one against the throw and the first feather in the cap for the Leinster second rower. He was up good and early and got his fingertips on it. And it's Leinster ball as a result up to the Wasps 10-metre line. Gibson Park in very quickly to the base of that ruck, and they feed it on to Rhys Ruddock. Ross Byrne is poised and waits, and he gets his pass away to Henshaw, and Henshaw put a very strong shoulder into 2 oncoming Wasps players, and he made a yard or 2 through the tackle, but now Leinster are repelled over on that far side. Devin Toner back in harness. He was unavailable last week because of injury. Now it's right in the centre of the pitch with Ross Byrne, and he finds Ringrose and he gets it away to Sean O'Brien, and in typical style, O'Brien hands off 2 Wasps players. Wasps were appealing for a knock on thereafter, but instead it's an advantage to Leinster. Shot to nothing here as James Ryan carries it at a rate of knots inside that Wasps 22. Really good purposeful attack about this for the defending European champion. Sean O'Brien again, he was snared in the tackle, but he got his hands free, got his pass away. The momentum maintained here by Leinster. Toner now into that Wasps 22, and the point of attack being changed time and again. Ross Byrne, and when I say that, Ringrose against the grain with that hunched over arcing style of his, tries to weave his way through a tackle or 2. The boos will tell you it's a Leinster penalty. Wasps felt that they may have had a knock on, but the decision from Mike Adamson goes the way of Leinster, and it's straight in front of the post, and it is a relatively simple and straightforward opportunity for Ross Byrne to get the first score of the afternoon. 11 minutes gone.
Typical Sean O'Brien fashion there. He's always on the shoulder. If there's a half break, if there's anything, he's always there. And then he gets that big Tullow fend out, which is hard to stop.
Yes, ball in 2 hands, then he fended off right-handed. Looked to switch the ball back into his right-handed and fend with his left. That's when he lost control of it. That's when the Wasps fans and 1 or 2 of the players felt there might have been a knock on. Referee happy that it went backwards, and thereafter Wasps offside, and it's a penalty for Ross Byrne right in front of the post inside that Wasps 22. Perfect opportunity for him to get the scoreboard moving and for Leinster to settle into their rhythm, which they've done so quite nicely so far. And Byrne strikes right-footed, and it's straight between the uprights, and up goes the arm of Mike Addison, and the flags of the referee's assistants. And 12 minutes and 10 seconds in, it's Leinster who take the lead by 3 points to 0. As I mentioned, those changes: Jack McGrath, Devin Toner, Sean O'Brien, Robbie Henshaw and Jamison Gibson Park from last week's win over Toulouse, who are at home to Bath, remember, this afternoon. Leinster looking to ensure a home quarter final and ensure that they don't get overtaken at the top of the pool by Toulouse. And they are looking forward, as things stand, to the potential of a third meeting this season in this competition against Toulouse in a quarter final. Now that ball has been knocked forward from Leinster's exit by a Wasps hand, and it was played by a player in front of the ball, I think in an offside position, so the referee's indicating Leinster penalty.
It's the second kickoff now that Leinster have secured the ball, gone to the box kick, the contested ball. Adam Byrne's done a great job getting in the air. The first time won the ball back, second time forced a penalty. Wasps are really going to need to put some more pressure on Leinster, especially in their half, if they're going to come away with some points.
Yes, he's been very unlucky with injuries, Adam Byrne, over the last year or so. You remember going back to the November series in 2017, he made his Ireland debut in that match against Argentina, but he's had a catalogue of injuries thereafter. He had a knee operation, I think, within a week of that game, and he's come back very, very strongly this season. Leinster changing up their line-out options on this occasion, finding Devin Toner, and the ball is at the base of that maul with Sean Cronin, the prolific try scorer in this competition, as Leinster look to move it dynamically through midfield. Little switch play from Gibson Park, and then a little bit of ballast from that man Tadhg Furlong as he crashes through one or two challenges. He made a few yards, and the decision is a Leinster penalty.
That was excellent rucking there from Sean O'Brien. He hit the man so hard, 2-3 metres, away from the ruck, therefore enabling the space for Sean Cronin to pierce through. Just clever play.
Good to see Robbie Henshaw getting plenty of touches as well, isn't it? This is him obviously being back from a long-term injury, and I think he's probably had double digits carries already. So great to see him making an impact, and looking forward to seeing him in the Six Nations as well.
Yeah, his last game was in the Pro 14 against Benetton in October. It's only his 8th start of the season, but we've seen him do it. There's so many of these Leinster players, I don't know what it is, and you've got to, I suppose, tip your hat to the fitness team behind the scenes. When they come back, they seem to come back absolutely ready to hit the ground running, and we know they all sing off the same hymn sheet. But you go back to last season, and was it the quarter final against Scarlets in Europe, where Robbie Henshaw hadn't played for a considerable period of time, came straight back into the starting team in Boston.
Yeah, it was excellent. I think it's just the backroom staff in Leinster's absolutely out of this world. It's arguably probably the best around, really, and fair play to them.
So meantime, from that penalty, Sean Cronin is making his way to 8 or 9 metres out from the Wasps try line to deliver the line out, and he does so very well to Devin Toner, and now Leinster find themselves in prime position here. 15 minutes gone, they lead by a Ross Byrne penalty to 0 against Wasps, and Gibson Park to Henshaw, and Henshaw just stepped off that left foot, and now if they can recycle it, they've got numbers, and they've got Dave Carney, and Carney gets the pass. Now can he find a way through? And the Wasp defence, the scramble defence, came swarming around Dave Carney just in the nick of time. The pass out to him wasn't quite as crisp as it might have been, but here come Leinster again. It's Furlong now from 2 metres out, and Leinster camped on that Wasps line now, seeking out the first score of the afternoon. Devin Toner gets his pass away. It was Jack McGrath who had a look, and here's Gary Ringrose, and that is the first try of the afternoon. The outside centre spots the gap in the Wasps rear guard. We played 16 minutes, and the European champions have their noses in front. It's a 15th try in Leinster colours for the man who was so good last week against Toulouse, Gary Ringrose.
It's just that physicality Leinster bring once they're in the 22. It's like everything, they ramp everything up, and Wasps just couldn't live with them, and it was just a matter of time. Lovely right foot step from Gary. Nathan Hughes over chases, and Tom Cruise can't get there. It's a great finish.
The speed of their ball as well, it's just incredible. It's very hard to defend, and as you can see, as Leinster start to build phases, this Wasps defence just gets more and more narrow, and Dave Carney's finding himself out here with acres of space. I think he had 15 metres that time. If the pass would have stuck, he's just walking in points.
So Leinster now lead by 10 points to 0. We've played 17 minutes at the Ricoh Arena because Ross Byrne has converted Gary Ringrose try, the opening try of the afternoon. Remember, they got 8 against this opposition back in October. Leo Cullen at pains all week to say that there is absolutely no room for complacency, though, against a Wasp side who are only playing for pride in this competition, who have yet to win a game. You go back to the last time that this Leinster side came here, and Leo Cullen in fact came here in January of 2016, 3 years ago. So much has changed for Leo Cullen, for Leinster rugby, and indeed for Irish rugby in that short period of time, because in Coventry that day Leinster were put to the sword 51 points to 10.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to be on the Wasps team that day. I think Leinster got their revenge in the first round this year.
Wasps going all the way to the semi-final of this competition that year. That's a very, very good start by Leinster. 18 minutes on the watch, they lead by 10 points to 0. If you're just joining us live on Off the Ball from the Ricoh Arena in Coventry, Gary Ringrose with a well taken try. Spotted the gap after some relentless pressure inside that Wasps 22 from the team in blue. That's a really, really good kick downfield, hoisted high, and the hang time on that was, well, a good 4 or 5 seconds, and I think it was Elliot Daly way over on that far side underneath it. Got his hands to it, didn't catch it cleanly, and has put it into touch over on the far side.
Wasps are going to need to do a better job at securing these contestable box kicks. I think it's just a little bit too easy for Leinster to get out of their half and to gain territory.
Elliot Daly rested last week for the trip to the Rec when Wasps were beaten by Bath. I think he made his Wasps debut while he was still at school. 2010-2011 was his breakout season. And good to see him back in harness. They'll look to try and utilise him as much as they can in an attacking threat, but much of the Wasps' play in the opening 19 minutes has been on the defensive, understandably so, against the strength of this Leinster team, who've been so prolific in this competition. They come into today's game having scored 23 tries in their 5 games. Just that one defeat, remember, down in the south of France against Toulouse, which they avenged with no little aplomb last week. Here's Henshaw involved again, and they get it moving with Ross Byrne. That's a really good offload out of the tackle by the Leinster fly half, and he brings in Adam Byrne, and he's tackled just 5 metres outside the 22, and Gibson Park tried to hit Cronin, and to be fair to the Wasps rear guard, they read that situation very well, and Cronin was hit hard and he knocked it on. Wasps have hacked it downfield. Leinster back inside their own half of the field. Ross Byrne gets it away to Larmour, and he looks to kick it over to Elliot Daly territory. Ironic cheers as he gathers that one quite comfortably, and that was well taken. The kick returned by Jamison Gibson Park above his head, and now he hoists one up in under the floodlights, and it's dropping on halfway, and that's been let go by Dan Robson. So Wasps' fielding of the high ball has left a little bit to be desired inside the opening quarter of this game. Devon Toner puts a Wasps player on his backside over on the far side, and then it's a Leinster player not releasing. It's probably Sean O'Brien, I think, who's a little bit slow to get back to his feet. He has a little bit of a chat with Mike Adamson, but it's a Wasps penalty.
What colours have you got under your jacket there, Brendan? Are you supporting Wasps here or Leinster?
Oh, it's a good question, Jake. I'm supporting good rugby, to be honest.
Good man, good man. On the fence.
I've got mates playing on both sides, so I'm hoping we're supporting good rugby.
Footy will be the winner at the end of the day.
Yeah. We'll see how that goes throughout the afternoon as the scoreboard changes. But diplomatic answer 20 minutes in, yeah.
It's the one.
That's fair enough. So Wasps have kicked that penalty down towards the Leinster 22. They just need to find something in attack, because as we know from Leinster, their patient approach, they'll keep that scoreboard ticking. They're relentless in terms of keeping the pressure on all of the time. They're so hard to play against. They give you absolutely no wriggle room whatsoever.
Am I right in saying that's the first penalty that Leinster have given away today?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It's
very much a feature of their game. I think they generally average in single digits every game, and if they go into double, then there's something wrong. I think at the game at the Rec, when Bath played with possibly 3 sevens in the pack, they had Francois Lowe playing at number 8. They were very effective in the breakdown. They conceded a lot of penalties that afternoon in very, very poor conditions, but ordinarily, yeah, it's very difficult. They give nothing away cheaply. So some running repairs. The Wasp physio has been on quite a bit, and we are set to continue. John Cruz has the ball, and he delivers it to Rowlands in that Wasps line out. And now Wasps come on the attack and they carry the fight to Leinster, and they bring possession almost up to the 22 now. Robson stood off that ruck and then took the second pass, and then they sling one wide to the far outside, and Bassett took it at pace, but he was well marshalled. He's brought down midway inside that Leinster 22. We've played 21 minutes. Leinster lead by 10 points to 0. But we're seeing Wasps for the first time this afternoon at the Ricoh Arena inside that Leinster 22. Now, can they capitalise? There's a missed tackle in there, and Wasps up to 4 metres. Devon Toner didn't snare his man, and Wasps are right on that Leinster try line. And they've turned over the ball. Somehow there's a Leinster player. It looks like, is it Gary Ringrose has come up with that? I was waiting for the referee to blow his whistle and signal a potential of a Wasps penalty, but Wasps have coughed up the ball at breakdown time, just a metre or so short of the Leinster line. That's really good defensive play from the defending champions. And now they come away with Conancht. Jack McGrath goes in there to support, and Gibson Park can feed it out to Tadhg Furlong. Leinster's tight head prop. Tackle just 2 metres outside the Leinster 22, and that was a real opportunity and a rare opening for Wasps to try and eat into the lead and really give themselves a perfect riposte. It's kicked downfield by Leinster, and it was taken by Sopawanga, and now it's carried at pace by Carr, the South African, brought into that Wasps back row this afternoon, taken on by Shanvia. And this is better now from the home side, and the crowd are responding to it, taken on by Ben Morris, a late introduction into the number 6 shirt because of the injury to Brad Shields. Sopawanga once again. Elliot Daly now, can he find a little bit of open country? Instead he's tackled right on halfway by James Ryan, but there's space potentially over on that far left hand side for Wasps, who are going through the phases here, recycling the ball well, having coughed it up just a moment ago right on that Leinster try line. Sopawanga once again, 5 metres outside the Leinster 22, Elliot Daly, but the whistle goes, and in the tight exchanges they've knocked the ball forward.
That's exactly what Wasps wants. They want the game free flowing and loose, but Leinster just look, even though they are kind of scrambling defensively, they still look really, really comfortable. 2 monstrous carries, one from Guy Ringrose and then James Ryan to get them out of trouble there. But this is exactly what Wasps would like, you know, the game to get nice and loose, for them to throw it around.
I'm just looking at that knock on again. It's because of the impact that's been applied by James Ryan and Jack McGrath. And we're just getting a replay on the big screen of the turnover from a Leinster point of view, as Wasps were a metre short. Gary Ringrose heavily involved, but it looked for all the money in the world that Wasps were going to strike. The initial good play from Bassett on the wing when he was found in space, but it comes to nothing, and the handling error results in a Leinster scrummage just 5 metres outside their own 22 in the centre of the pitch, right in front of their own posts.
I think it just goes to show the how small the margin of error is in football at this level. It's been all Leinster for 20 minutes, coughed up the ball once, and in the space of 90 seconds we've seen how dangerous Wasps can be and how close they can come to picking up 7 points.
Meantime in France, the latest score is Toulouse leading Bath by 15 points to 3. Joe Takori over for a try after 13 minutes, which was converted by Zach Holmes, a further penalty for Holmes, and in the last couple of minutes they've helped themselves to a second try, Toulouse, so they're going well.
It's an interesting one with Toulouse, like you were saying. What would you rather? Cover play against one of the Irish provinces in the Aviva, or else come to Paris and play against Racing Metro. So they'll have to be tactical with their tries. Yeah,
that was my fly in the ointment scenario. Devil's advocate is that they get the bonus point try and the win, and they find themselves at the RDS in the Aviva against Leinster in a quarter final, having already been there and been pretty well beaten, all said and done. Or they just get the rudimentary 4 points and potentially they go into Paris to play Racing. Leinster scrummage, meantime, is fed by Jemison Gibson Park, and it's at the feet of Sean O'Brien. Gibson Park to Ross Byrne along the line to Henshaw and Ringrose had a look at where the cover was in relation to Dave Carney, held the ball in his 2 hands, took the contact, and Leinster recycle, and they move it on to Rhys Ruddock. And now it's Jack McGrath back in harness, Cian Healy back on the bench. And now Ross Byrne spots a little bit of space, and it's one of those crossfield kicks, really well measured to Adam Byrne. This time it was quite flat. It was only 10 or 15 metres or thereabouts, but it was measured perfectly. Meantime, Wasps offside. But again, it's the invention, the creativity and the pinpoint accuracy with ball in hand, and when he puts his boot to it, of Ross Byrne.
He's just outstanding at that, Ross Byrne. You know, he's probably up there with the best in Europe with those little nudges. Like, that was literally probably 7-8 metres off the high and perfectly ball into Adam Byrne. Disappointing to see him miss out in the Irish squad. He's been outstanding for Leinster.
Yeah, it's very interesting how that's going to play out. Jack Carty and Keelan Blade in the Ireland squad this week, and Ross Byrne fires Leinster down to the Wasps 22. And once again, the defending European champions find themselves in the perfect field position with the ideal platform from which to strike. Sean Cronin will deliver to the line-out. He's scored 4 tries in this competition already this season, and quite a few of them, 2 at least, I think 3 if not 3, have come from this kind of position where he gets himself on the back of that driving line-out maul. He's looking for Devon Toner, who took it one-handed with his right hand, and the ball is now back, as I said, with Sean Cronin. Can Leinster find some kind of momentum? It's a fairly good wedge in defence, a defiant piece of defending from Wasps, so Gibson Park is forced to play it, and he gives it to Henshaw, who's seen a huge amount of ball inside the opening 26 minutes here. Ross Byrne, Leinster cutting good angles off their fly half, and now they give it to James Ryan, who carried a monumental amount of ball against the French side Toulouse last week. Rhys Ruddock, out goes the arm of Mike Adamson, the referee. Free play here for Leinster with the advantage, and they're coming through offside again, and now Gibson Park taps and goes, and of course it was his quick thinking that released Adam Byrne for the 4th try last week, the bonus point try against Toulouse, but he's been called back by the referee.
We're seeing a very narrow defence from Wasps off Leinster's maul attack. Earlier, I think before their first try, we saw Dave Carney almost go over. I'd like to see Leinster have a go at that far 15-metre channel off the maul and see if they can exploit that space and come away with some points there.
A little bit of attention meantime for the Leinster captain, Rhys Ruddock. He's okay to continue, and wisely. 27-28 minutes on the watch. Leinster leading Wasps by 10 points to 0. Ross Byrne electing to try and add another 3. I say try and add, it should be absolutely meat and drink to a man of his capabilities from this range. It's midway inside the 22 and it's straight in front of the posts. And Rhys Ruddock absolutely fine to continue, a player who first captained his province way back in 2011 against Aironi in the Celtic League, and he wearing the armband in the absence of Johnny Sexton this afternoon. Captained Ireland, of course, twice during the November series against USA and Italy. Ross Byrne is poised and ready, having replaced the ball which fell off the kicking tee, and he strikes head down through the ball, right-footed, and Leinster lead Wasps by 13 points to 0. We've played 29 minutes of this Pool 1 encounter at the Ricoh Arena in Coventry, and it's been good stuff from Leinster.
It has been. Wasps are probably pretty lucky with the scoreline. It's only 13. I think Leinster may have left one, potentially 2 tries out there.
The restart is gathered in by Jordan Larmour. And Leinster inside their own 22 as they look to exit that 22.
Another good carry from Sean O'Brien there. He always makes 2 or 3 metres in that close quarter stuff.
Ross Byrne is going to kick from 5 metres inside his 22. He hoists one crossfield. He's looking for Dave Carney. Carney didn't make it, but what he did make was a very good tackle to bring his man down. I think it was Josh Bassett who got his hands on it. Now it's taken on by Hughes. No ill effects to that injury he picked up inside the opening 10 minutes. And he was number 8, Sopawanga, now with lots of options out wide, but he threw it a little bit too low, and it's been gathered in by Leinster. Half an hour gone, they lead by 13 points to no score, and they're dominating proceedings. Wasps have been a little bit loose in possession and have yet to cause Leinster too many worrying moments. Had that one opportunity potentially from which they might have scored, but when it looked promising, Leinster turned it over right on their own try line. Gibson Park now 5 metres inside his own half in the middle of the pitch, hoists one high and asks the question once again of this Wasps back three. Rob Miller at full back today for Wasps. Now Robson, can he get his side moving? They're inside their own 22 and Ringrose makes a tackle and the ball is at the feet of the Wasps scrum half Dan Robson. Yet to be capped by England, but you venture that might change very soon indeed. Former Gloucester man, and he hoists his box kick from inside the Wasps 22, just over halfway. That was knocked forward by Jordan Larmour. Wasps have it just inside the Leinster half of the field with Robson. Long pass out to Sapawanga, and he gets his pass away to Nazim Carr, the South African wearing number 7 for Wasps this afternoon. 31 minutes on the watch. Can Wasps manufacture something, get a foothold in this game, get themselves on the scoreboard? They've struggled for tries in this competition all season. Now they move it a little bit swifter wide to the right hand channel to Tom Cruise, who's tackled by Gary Ringrose, and Leinster have turned the ball over again, and it's been kicked through by Larmour towards that 22. He felt he was impeded after the kick through by a couple of Wasps players. Dave Carney couldn't quite get there before the ball was tunnelled into touch, but it's yet another Leinster turnover when Wasps have possession.
That would have been an interesting foot race, that Dave Carney and Gabby Balavu.
They just look so comfortable in defence, Leinster. It's almost like they're saying to Wasps, you know, have 10, 11 shots, keep coming. They'll make the tackles, and then, you know, Wasps will eventually get bored, kick it away, or else lose it. You know, it's really, really good defensive play.
Yeah, they've got all the angles covered, and they have the look of almost a boxer who knows his opponent doesn't have the punch to put him to the canvas. He's like, okay, keep giving me, I'll take the shots all day. But
absolutely
a lack of penetration at times, and their handling has been a little bit awry too, which never helps. You can make so few mistakes against this Leinster side and stay competitive in the game. Robson hoists his box kick up towards halfway, and again it's very well watched, and Wasps are offside, and they're handing the impetus back to Leinster time and again. Gibson Park wanted to go quickly. The referee says we'll come back, and on this occasion you would feel potentially Ross Byrne will put this one into touch. They lead by 13 points to 0.
You just look at the differences of box kicking from Jameson Gibson Park and Dan Robson. You know, Gibson Park's are on the money, you know, for his winger to get up and contest with. And to be fair, all the Irish provinces are absolutely excellent at that. And, you know, Robson's is maybe 10, 11 metres too far. You know, gives his wing, you know, a difficult job to do, and Leinster back in the attack.
And they are right back on the attack, up to 5 metres again from where they'll have a line out from that penalty, which was dispatched by Ross Byrne. So Sean Cronin has the ball in 2 hands, and he takes the towel to just get a little bit of the moisture off the ball, and he will endeavour to find his targets. He's delivered well so far this afternoon, more often than not, as you might expect. Devon Toner, will he mix it up on this occasion? They do. And for the first time from touch this afternoon, they go to Rhys Ruddock. So that's a couple for Toner, one for James Ryan, and now one for Ruddock. And I mentioned all the tries he scored this season in the Heineken Champions Cup, Sean Cronin, and he's just got his 5th. And it's from that orthodox line out driving maul, the ball at the base with Cronin. He was so well protected. It was the perfect length from where they could drive the legs, pump the legs, and Cronin's in for the second try of the afternoon for Leinster. 34 minutes in, and they lead Wasps now by 18 points to 0. Well taken from Cronin.
Great line out there from Leinster. Now it looked like a lot of movement, and you could say that was to win the ball, but what they've done is they've managed to get their prop at the front of the line out and their prop at the back of the line out to lift. Was it James Ryan in the middle there, and so you've got your 2 biggest, strongest men at the front of that maul, and then all it needed was weight. Wasps weren't able to move them from their lifting positions, and then they can just roll over from there. So great tactical move from Leinster, and even better execution.
That's the voice of the former Conancht man, Jake Heenan, alongside me now, currently at Bristol Bears, and Brendan Macken on commentary for Off the Ball at the Ricoh Arena this afternoon, where Leinster are just moving into something like cruise control, it seems, having added their second try of the afternoon. Gary Ringrose with the first try on 16 minutes, embellished now by the second from Sean Cronin on 34, and Ross Byrne from a difficult angle very close to us in our commentary position here in Coventry will endeavour to add the extras. On the angle, it's probably about 27, 28 metres. He's only 1 or 2 outside the 22. But he's very tight to this near touchline, just 6 metres in. He strikes that really, really well. And that was the strike of a very confident player, full of conviction. And he's been flawless off the kicking tee so far this afternoon. And we've played 35 minutes, and Wasps in big trouble against the defending champions. Leinster lead their English opponents by 20 points to no score. Kickoff taken by Sean O'Brien, who set about his work very well this afternoon. His first appearance in Leinster blue, or any colour for that money, since November, returning from a broken arm, remember. Now it's Leinster ball just outside their own 22. It's a little bit scrappy. It's gone forward off a Wasps player first, and then it was knocked on by Ross Byrne, but just nothing going the way of Wasps really. Dai Young will be scratching his head as how to manufacture a way back into this. It's very difficult to know from a coaching point of view 4 minutes before half time, Brendan. I mean, what do you say to the players?
It's difficult. You're just thinking, just kind of hang on to the ball, keep going through phases. That's all Wasps need to do. Not get bored of just doing the simple things well. I know Leinster's defence is really organised, and they're enjoying defending, but Wasps have some some unbelievable players. Liam Supawonga, Campagnaro, Daly, Bassett. We haven't seen them get the ball in their hands. Those guys just want a one-on-one opportunity.
I told you about the fact that Toulouse had scored a second try. Antoine Dupont has been confirmed as the try scorer, and the conversion was added by Zach Holmes, so they lead Bath by 17 points to 3 there in stoppage time at the end of the regulation 40 there down in the south of France. So both games going to the form book, as the big screen shows us. Jack Conan picked a play this afternoon at number 8, but succumbing to the shoulder injury he picked up last week against the aforementioned Toulouse, and unable to play even the extra day. Not enough for him to prove his fitness. The man who played 20 minutes of last season's final, Jack Conan, against Racing. And Leinster have set about the defence of their title pretty well in the group stages. They're going to cruise through, it seems, with some 24 if not 25 points. When Toulouse beat them down in France, of course, it did bring to an end an 18-month unbeaten run for Leinster in this competition. Now then, they get the ball moving off the base of that scrum and into midfield, and Ross Byrne and now Ringrose, and he had Larmour to his right, cuts back in field. That's a little bit loose now for Jamison Gibson Park. At the end there was appeals of a knock on, and this time Mike Addison concurs, hence the ironic cheers. Certainly looked at from up here, I have to say. He was a little bit slow about stretching out the arm and indicating the knock on.
Yeah, an uncharacteristic era from Leinster. Their breakdown's been so good this evening, so hopefully they can get that back on track, but Wasps will look to get a foothold here now they've got a bit of territory in possession.
Just 2 minutes of the 40 remain in this opening half. 2 tries for Leinster if you're just joining us. The first from Gary Ringrose on 16 minutes, and the second just a short time ago from Sean Cronin, a man who scored 36 tries in 166 appearances for Leinster. He's so dangerous, so prolific.
He's so quick.
He's so quick, yes.
You shouldn't be allowed to do that as a front rower,
Yeah.
should you? That's
legal.
No.
Well, he could probably play in a number of variety positions, such as his all-round game. He's such a repertoire of skills.
Yeah, you'd be happy enough to stick him out in the right wing.
What was it, the first try? I think he scored the first try in the reverse fixture against Wasps, and his acceleration over 15-20 yards is incredible. And speaking of acceleration, it's Wasps accelerating now into that Leinster 22. We're in the dying embers of the first half here, and they're looking to salvage something from the wreckage of the opening 38-39 minutes here and try and get themselves on the scoreboard with 5 or 7. Give them something to chat about at half time, as Supawonga carries them right in front of the post, and Leinster have turned it over. Every time Wasps look to manufacture something, Leinster in defence have been resilient, and they have been absolutely belligerent, and they've turned it over. And Wasps, it must be said, have been a little bit loose. O'Brien, Sean O'Brien that is, and Leinster looking to play their way out of trouble inside their own 22. running the clock down. It's been a very, very efficient and effective and impressive 40 minutes from Leinster here in Coventry. 30 seconds of the half remain. Wasps piling through. Gibson Park hoists one outside the Leinster 22, and plenty of height and hang on it, but it was well taken. It's Wasps' ball. Is there something for them at the very end of this half? They're looking to make inroads towards that Leinster 22, just in front of the post, and Dan Robson brings it back against the green, looking to test Leinster over on that Wasps left hand side of the pitch. 3 metres outside the Leinster 22, and they go again with Sopawanga and Miller, and in goes Henshaw. Now just tries to rip the ball clear in the tackle, couldn't quite manage it, and then I think it was Rhys Ruddock with another good tackle as they look to try and stop Wasps on that Leinster 22. They're making it so difficult for the English side to get any real momentum and fluidity about their play, such as their tenacity around the tackle area and the contact area, and they're resourcing their ruck as well, and they're hunting turnovers. But Robson, Elliot Daly now, ball in two hands, took it at first receiver as he's done quite a few times this afternoon, carried into heavy traffic and was put to ground by Jack McGrath. 40 minutes are up and Wasps in possession. They trail by 20 points to 0. Can they? Well, no, the ball's been ripped clear again by Leinster, and now shot to nothing really for Leinster. It's kicked downfield by Gary Ringrose, and that's just going to trundle down the tram lines, and it's been carried into touch by Sopawanga. A rather forlorn looking fly half for Wasps. Gives a little shake of the head and a shrug of the shoulders. Nothing they could do on that attack whatsoever. They couldn't break Leinster down, because when they looked to get on the front foot again, they coughed up possession. It was turned over by a Leinster player who was in around the tackle area, ripping the ball clear, and it's Leinster who will take a very, very handsome and healthy and deserved lead in to the change rooms beneath us in the stand at the Ricoh Arena. They have scored 2 tries in the opening 40 minutes from Gary Ringrose and Sean Cronin, and they lead Wasps at half time here by 20 points to 0. They are bang on course, it would seem, for qualification for a home quarter-final in the Heineken Champions Cup.
Yeah, they certainly are. Thanks very much to Conor. Back to Conor and the lads in a few moments' time. So as things stand, Toulouse are leading Bath as well in France. They don't have the bonus point yet, but you suspect they might well get it. As things stand, if Toulouse don't get the bonus point, then in the quarterfinal Leinster will play Ulster as things stand. So Leinster with a home quarterfinal would play Ulster in the quarterfinals. Munster are away to Edinburgh, Saracens home to Glasgow, and Racing at home to Toulouse. Now should Toulouse, and they have a whole half to do it, go on and get the tries they need, then things would change. Ulster would be away to Racing and Leinster would be at home to Toulouse. So essentially we're looking here in this last 8 at the only final 2 spots up for real change are Toulouse and Ulster, who finishes 6th and who finishes 7th seed. So if Toulouse do get the bonus points, they'll nip ahead of Ulster and go into top 6 side, and they will be away to Leinster. However, if Bath put some kind of defence up or resurgence up and Toulouse don't get the bonus points, then we would have Leinster against Ulster in the quarterfinals, and Racing would host Toulouse instead of Ulster. So well, I just wonder, what would Toulouse prefer, Racing away or Leinster away? And that may well dictate what we see in the second half. I don't think they would fancy a return to the RDS anytime soon, that's for sure. We'll take a short break. There's other bits and bobs going on. As you know, Manchester City 3-0 winners in the end, full time away to Huddersfield, and it's just started between Fulham and Spurs. 0-0 there after 8 minutes.
Wasps versus Leinster, live from the Ricoh Arena.
On Off the Ball.
My name is Brown Sugar. And I was like, that is so cool. Like, I can't pull that off. How are you? I'm Shukra.
I think he saw China and saw they have a big wall, and he thought, oh, there's no Mexicans in China, is there?
It wouldn't work in Ireland, because every time you go somewhere you meet someone you know. So you go, oh, there's my cousin Mick.
Sat nav is telling you everything you need to know all the way up, crossing the South Armagh, and the sat nav says, tell him nothing.
Hear the full You Couldn't Make It Up podcast
at newstalk.com and on the Newstalk app.
in partnership with Tesco.
Be safe when driving this winter. Make sure your vision is crystal clear at all times by defogging and de-icing when necessary. Always keep a screen scraper and de-icer at hand to keep your mirrors and windows clear. Motor Tips, brought to you by Volkswagen Service. Book a service online at volkswagen.ie.
Stay with me, my love. I hope you'll always be right here by my side if ever I need you. Oh, my love, I will follow you. Will you follow me all the
Wherever you go, Bank of Ireland. Bank of Ireland is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Having a flutter? Top tip, QuinBet.com. Ireland's newest online sportsbook and casino. For all your horse racing, football, casino and more, QuinBet has you covered. With live in-play markets on mobile, PC and app. QuinBet.com. Terms and conditions apply. Gamble responsibly. Visit gambleaware.ie.
Funny how small things matter most. Imagine if all 10 million cups of tea we drink in Ireland every day were powered by 100% green energy and not by burning fossil fuels. And imagine if all our dishwashers, hairdryers and TVs were powered by green energy too. Isn't that a future worth acting on? Go to sseelectricity.com now to view our range of switching offers and join us in changing the world, one cup of tea at a time. SSE Electricity. This is Generation Green. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you tired of cleaning your dishes? Whirlpool have the solution for you. Now is the perfect time to upgrade to a new Whirlpool Power Clean dishwasher, which removes even the most stubborn baked-on food. For more information, go online to powercity.ie or call in store today.
Beat the January blues. Book an epic adventure to North America with flights from €189 each way as part of a return trip with Aer Lingus. Enjoy some retail therapy in New York City, hit the trendy bars and hip restaurants of downtown San Francisco, or steep yourself in the history and intrigue of Washington, D.C. Smart books an escape to North America. Smart flies Aer Lingus. Book now at airlingus.com. Offer subject to conditions and availability.
The world has changed. How we play is less this and more this. It's about time finance changed too. At Linked Finance, we're revolutionising the way lending works for Irish SMEs. With game-changing business loans, online, fast and very straightforward, it's real people lending to local businesses at very attractive rates. This is business lending for a digital age from Ireland's leading peer-to-peer lending company. Apply now or find out more at linkedfinance.com.
Football Index is reinventing football betting. You can buy and sell the world's top players. Their value may go up and down, but it's not over with the final whistle like a regular bet. Football Index, reinventing football betting.
Start building your portfolio today at footballindex.co.uk or download the app now. New customers only, minimum deposit and conditions apply. Gamble responsibly.
Okay guys, welcome to our Q1 AGM Planning Quarterly Review Central meeting.
Business can be complicated, but travel doesn't have to be. With My Taxi Business, you can download receipts and manage multiple bookings online. Make the smarter choice at mytaxi.com.
In Monday's Irish Independent and independent.ie, in Health and Living magazine, we bring you everything you need to know to maximise your shut-eye. How much sleep do you really need? What happens if you don't get it? Plus, psychologist Alison Keating on what to do to give yourself the best chance for a good rest. In Monday Sport, following the last round of pool matches in the Champions Cup, we assess Irish prospects of success. Only in Monday's Irish Independent and independent.ie. Take a fresh look.
I will never see my wife and daughter again.
Unaccompanied learners can lead to unaccompanied lives. And now the law has changed. Gardaí have the power to seize a vehicle driven by an unaccompanied learner. What's more, the owner of the vehicle faces prosecution and a fine of up to €1,000. Don't drive unaccompanied and never loan a car to an unaccompanied or unlicensed driver. From the Road Safety Authority, visit rsa.ie to see Noel Clancy's story.
Every brand has a story. Some are built over decades, others over centuries. Discover the German car brand, meticulously engineered over 120 years to bring you our cleanest, most efficient engines yet. Discover Opel. Come and celebrate Opel's 120-year anniversary event at your local Opel dealership. Choose your perfect 191 Opel, then choose your preferred offer, like 0% PCP or HP finance, a guaranteed minimum of €3,000 scrappage, or 3 years free servicing. Opel's 120-year anniversary anniversary event. From now until January 31st, visit your Opel dealership for more. Opel, the future is everyone's. Lending criteria, terms and conditions apply. Hire purchase agreement provided by Bank of Ireland Trading as Bank of Ireland Finance.
Wasps versus Leinster, live from the Ricoh Arena.
On Off the Ball.
James Ryan and now one for Ruddock, and I mentioned all the tries he scored this season in the Heineken Champions Cup, Sean Cronin, and he's just got his 5th.
Yes, so there we are then, half-time. It's Leinster who lead Wasps 20 points to 0. Tries from Gary Ringrose and Sean Cronin. They have dominated the game completely, playing at a completely different pace and intensity to Wasps. They've had 66% possession, 67% territory, and they are very much on top. And meanwhile, Toulouse are 17 points to 3 up in Bath. They have 2 tries to lose. Why am I telling you this? Because as things stand, if Toulouse stay on 2 tries, Neil, then they will be ranked 7th seeds, and therefore they will be away to Racing in quarter-final 4, and Leinster will host Ulster in quarter-final 3, Ulster as 6 seeds. If Toulouse score 2 tries in the second half, then Toulouse and Ulster will switch. So Ulster will travel to Racing and Toulouse will travel to Dublin. The other quarterfinals firmly in stone. Edinburgh at home to Munster, Saracens at home to Glasgow. So if you're over there in the Stade Ernest Vallon and you're chatting with the lads, would you rather in your quarterfinal travel to play Leinster away, or would you travel to the U Arena in Paris to play Racing? Is a question they may consider.
Yeah, and I'm trying to figure out which one, if I was a Toulouse player, which one I'd go for, because on one hand, neither's good. U Arena is a very tough place to play, artificial pitch, but you're probably a bit more used to playing Racing. On the other hand, you've beaten Leinster, excuse me, but you've also been to Dublin and not got within a sniff of them.
Yeah, I think William Servat's on their coaching ticket, isn't he? He said we were schooled. Was kind
very
of
much,
how he put it about the game at the RDS. So, well, if they don't want to play Leinster, then they should not score 2 tries in this second half.
Also, who do Ulster want to go to? Dublin or Paris? Again, like Toulouse, you know, they've been to Paris, and they've beaten Racing at home, but they haven't got within a sniff of them away. On the other hand, they're used to playing Leinster, but wouldn't necessarily have a great record against them.
Yeah, again, bad options for both. I mean, whatever happens, Leinster and Racing are firm favourites to go through and face each other in the semi-final. Racing would have a home semi-final, as I understand it. Yeah,
they would. Yeah, they are second seeds at the moment, and well, they will be second seeds. Leinster can't get up to the 26 points to get ahead of them.
Okay. So that's where we are in the Heineken Champions Cup. Back for the second half at the Ricoh Arena very shortly. What else going on?
Well, earlier Man City have cut Liverpool's lead at the Premier League summit to 4 points. They beat Huddersfield 3-0 at the John Smith Stadium. Danilo's deflected strike gave them a first half lead. Second half goals in quick succession then from Raheem Sterling and from Leroy Sané sealed the win. Spurs are in the early stages of their game against Fulham at Craven Cottage. They made 4 changes to the team that narrowly lost to Man United last week. Harry Kane and Moussa Sissoko obviously out through injury. Son Heung-min's away on international duty, and Ben Davies drops out. In full, they go with Lloris, Trippier, Rose, Alderweireld, Vertonghen, Sanchez, Winks, Lamela, Ali, Eriksson and Llorente, while Ryan Babel will make his Fulham debut this afternoon. Claudio Ranieri makes 1 change to the team that lost to Burnley. He has come in place of Ryan Sessegnon. Also in the Scottish Cup at the moment, 4th round action, Hearts are taking on Livingston. It's Hearts who lead 1-0 there. Sean Clare, the goal scorer. Gaelic Games, quite a bit of action today. Roscommon won the FBD League in Conancht. 2nd year in a row they've taken that pre-season title. They beat Galway 13 points to 1-5 at Tuam Stadium. A first piece of silverware for their new manager Anthony Cunningham. While in Division 1 of the Littlewoods National Camogie League, defending champions Kilkenny got off to a winning start. They beat Clare 1-9 to 7 points. Limerick saw off Offaly 1-13 to 13 points. In Group 2 then, All-Ireland champions Cork were 10 points to 7 winners against Tipperary, and Waterford saw off Wexford 1-13 to 1-5. In tennis, Roger Federer is out of the Australian Open. He was beaten in 4 sets by Greece's Stefanos Tsitsipas, 6-7, 7-6, 7-5, 7-6. Federer actually taking the opening set, while Rafael Nadal is into the quarterfinals. He beat Thomas Berdych in straight sets. Meanwhile, in the women's draw, world number 2, Angelique Kerber is out. She was beaten by Danielle Collins, while Maria Sharapova was also beaten today by Australian home favourite Ashley Barty. And a couple of more bits in snooker. Judd Trump has raced into a 6-frames-to-1 lead against Ronnie O'Sullivan in the final of the Masters. That is best of 19 frames, so first to 10 will be crowned champion tonight. And finally, in racing, the Grade 2 horse and jockey Hotel Chase at Thurles was won by the 13-8 favourite 2S Permis, ridden by Sean Flanagan for trainer Noel Meade. And the other Grade 2 on that card, Mare's Novice Chase, went to the 11-10 market leader Camilla de Cotte, trained by Willie Mullins, jockey Paul Townend on board.
Okay, lovely stuff. Let's begin to check back in at the Ricoh Arena. We have Conor alongside Brendan Macken, formerly Leinster and Wasps, and Jake Heenan of Conancht. Lads, you might settle the debate for us then, Jake or Brendan. So we're talking here, Toulouse, if they score 2 tries against Bath in the second half, they'll have to play Leinster. If they keep things as they are, they have to play Racing. Both away. What would you pick?
Personally, I'd pick Racing if I was Toulouse. Like Leinster, at their patch are too strong. They're probably too strong at the best times, no matter where you play them. But I reckon they've got a better chance of advancing if they played against Racing.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. I don't think Dublin's a very inviting place to play any game, let alone a quarter-final. But I mean, Toulouse have a job to do, and I can only imagine they're going out there to do it to the best of their ability. And if that means 5 competition points, and then you look at Dublin in April, then that's what you have to do. And you're going to have to beat them sooner or later if you want to win this tournament. So
yeah. Meanwhile, there have been several requests in for Brendan Macken's Royal Nugent to appear, and it hasn't appeared yet.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, listen, if it just happens to insert itself over the next 40 minutes, then we'll live. Are you impressed with Leinster? Disappointed with Wasps? I guess it's tough when you don't have much to play for.
I think, to be honest, pretty impressed with Leinster. They're just strangling Wasps at the moment. They're enjoying defending. Wasps are throwing shot after shot against them. Leinster are lapping it up, and then when they have the ball, their physicality is excellent. So I'm pretty impressed with Leinster, to be fair.
Okay, Conor, back to you.
Thanks, Joe. Yep, all set to go. The ball is with the Leinster fly half Ross Byrne, and Mike Adamson blows his whistle and raises his arm and gives the salute that we are okay to go for the second half. Leinster leading by 20 points to 0. It's still up there on YouTube, is it, Brendan? The impression that Joe mentioned, I think it is it?
Yeah, unfortunately, it is indeed. Yeah. Coming back from Treviso on an airplane. I didn't know Raul started at the back of the plane. Unfortunately,
I didn't know he was on the plane, was he? So he endorsed the.
He did.
He gave the thumbs up. Yeah.
So I just started speaking, and unfortunately, I saw him.
Okay.
So
no pressure. Okay, we're back underway, and Wasps have the ball. Now that's a really beautiful transfer, soft hands, wonderful lines of rugby, little bit of an exchange in there between Nathan Hughes and Dan Robson. We've played 47 seconds of the second half, and we didn't see anything like that in the opening 40 minutes of the first half from Wasps. So whatever Dai Young said initially seemed to work, and then when they got themselves into the Leinster half of the pitch, Wasps that is, they knocked the ball forward. But little green shoots of recovery there from Wasps, and no doubt the words of Dai Young ringing in their ears at half time. Although I'm sure he's not one to kick the teacups around the dressing room and get their hair dry out when you're ostensibly playing for pride, but nonetheless he will have asked for more, I'm sure, Brendan, from his team.
Yeah, I think he just wants consistency. At this stage they've had a tough run of it. I think it's just some consistency. The lads just doing the simple things well. Try build some form going back into the Premiership.
And again, just looking at that on the big screen away to our right hand side, it's just the tenacious attitude of the Leinster players around the breakdown. It was Josh van der Fleer on that occasion, just forcing the errors and the mistakes from this Wasps team. If you're just joining us, we turn around at Leinster leading by 20 points to 0. They've now scored 25 tries in 5.5 matches in this competition, and they're well clear here. We spoke about the fact that they would have to go a long way to repeat or indeed eclipse the 8-try winning margin that they racked up in October, but they've set about it pretty well here this afternoon. Leinster now right in front of their own post, but midway inside, or just up to the 10-metre line. Now it was a little switch from Ringrose to Larmour, and then Larmour's lifted off his feet. as Wasps look to try and slow things down, but trying to add a little bit of impetus was Jack McGrath. It's in the arms of Ross Byrne, midway inside the Leinster half of the field, and he kicks one downfield, and then he gets himself back into position to receive the return kick, and he claims it well, Ross Byrne, and Larmour then just kicks for territory. You heard those statistics from Joe at half time, heading towards 70% both in terms of possession and territory, and the return kicking on occasion from Wasps has let them down. It's been a little bit errant at times. Gibson Park hoists one high and then sets off in pursuit, and at the second attempt I thought he took it, but the referee is only a yard away. I'm maybe 40 yards away, and he said he knocked it on. He made a good attempt. He got plenty of height.
Oh, he's unlucky there. 9v9 going at each other in the air. Great to see. You know, Gibson Park qualifies for Ireland before the World Cup, I believe. So,
yep.
You know, he's another excellent scrum half to pick from. You know, himself, Luke McGrath, Conor Murray. Pretty sport there in that position.
Keelan Blade, Kieran Marmion, there's so many, and the injuries that they've had. Although good to see Cooney back in action for Ulster at Welford Road this weekend.
Yeah, he really came on and changed the game, to be fair to John. His goal kicking's been absolutely immaculate.
Without doing the sums in my head, he would have been at Leinster when you were there, is that? Or?
Yeah, John was, and then he went to Conancht.
Where he was with you, Jake, yeah?
Yeah. We've all had the pleasure of a couple of years with John Cooney, fortunately, so... Yeah, but that Ireland team, you know, you talk about their depth at 9, but, you know, where can you fault them? I mean, right across 1 to 15, you know, extraordinary depth, and then across the 4 provinces, you know, it's great to see all 4 doing so well in their respective competitions. You know, it's really fantastic for Ireland coming into this World Cup year.
20 points to nil here. It remains 17-3 to Toulouse done in France against Bath with those 2 tries. 2 tries here for Leinster as well. We will get into the permutations and the many variables as the 80 minutes wear on here. Meantime, we resume with a Wasps put in, and Dan Robson feeds that scrummage, and it's a scrum penalty here for Wasps. The referee indicating a penalty, shrill blast from Mike Adamson. And so they'll have the opportunity from that set piece flashpoint from Sapawanga to try and get themselves a foothold in some Leinster territory beyond the 10-metre line. And that's exactly where he's kicked it, just 3 or 4 metres beyond the Leinster 10-metre line. And Cian Healy is coming in. So a change in the front row. Jack McGrath is called ashore.
Poor Jake Cooper-Woolley's had to deal with Jack for 45 minutes now. Now big old Cian Healy comes on. Probably not ideal for him.
And he's been in exceptional form, Cian Healy. Well, they've taken the line out and worked it pretty well. It was a good delivery again from Cruz, and they're often moving into midfield, and that was a good little transfer from Ben Morris, and now Robson moves it with a little bit of purpose now, and Wasps are up to the Leinster 22 and inside that 22, and they recycle it pretty quickly, and Sapawanga now flat pass, and that's much better hands. Elliot Daly now around the outside of Rhys Ruddock, and then Ruddock, the Leinster captain, wraps him up and pinches the ball and takes it away, and it's thrown back in field from Adam Byrne, and we will restart. I think, well, it was a foot in touch actually on this near side, but it's all happening here, and just as though it looked as though Elliot Daly would find a little bit of open ground, he ran right back into Rhys Ruddock, who just took the ball from him.
Yeah, Elliot would be disappointed with that, but Rhys is a man mountain. I wouldn't advise anyone running into him, but you know, I just saw Ross Byrne there. You know, he's annoyed at Adam Byrne for not pumping that ball long, and even though Ross is, I think, 23, 24, he's someone he's been around the game for 10 or so years.
So it was a Wasps line-out because of the foot in touch from Adam Byrne, and they've won their line-out, and that man Cooper-Woolley just shovels one in field. Wasps are 3 metres outside the Leinster 22. Robson gets it away, and he gets it away to Lovabalavu. Robson again, And they take it on now with Nathan Hughes, a metre outside the Leinster 22, right in front of the post. Out goes the arm of the referee. Penalty coming here, so can they manufacture something on the hoof? And away goes Robson, and he thought he could take it quickly. The referee's going to call him back. Not a popular decision, as you can probably hear around the Ricoh Arena in Coventry. At least he's going to get an explanation from the referee as to why he was called back. But it's been a little bit better from Wasps. The ball is with the fly half Supawanga, and he kicks it really, really well over to that far side, and it's a 5-metre line out for Wasps here. Pride trying to galvanise their team. They need something to continue this as a contest, really, as we were saying at half time off mic. First score of the second half, absolutely crucial. Noise level rising. Opportunity knocks here for Dai Young's Wasps. 5 metres out from the Leinster line, and they have a line out, and it was well taken. Now can they find some forward momentum, get that leg drive going, get some good shape about this maul? Instead they break away from the base. It's Hughes. He was well tackled by Van der Fleer. The ball is with Robson now, and Wasps up to 5 metres. Devin Toner goes in with a tackle. There's a really good clear out there because Sean O'Brien was over the ball, but he was taken out of the equation entirely. Now will they endeavour to put some width on it? I think they will. They move it all the way to the far side. Risky pass, a floated pass towards Elliot Daly, whose hands let him down, but really the pass did as well. It doesn't go to hand, and it's yet another opportunity going begging for Wasps from a very, very good position.
It's difficult to describe it here because as we're on the radio, but the difference when Wasps are in the Leinster 22 compared to when Leinster are in the Wasps 22, you know, when Leinster are in the Wasps 22, everything goes up, the physicality goes up, and Wasps just can't live with it. Whereas, you know, when they're attacking Leinster, it's a bit slower, and you know the ruck's a bit slower, and the carries aren't as physical. You know, and that's what's letting them down at the moment.
Yeah, just looking at that again on the big screen away to the right hand side, it's in slow motion. Everything always looks a little bit worse in slow motion as we get a picture of Eddie Jones looking on, but the pass from Rob Miller, it was very flat forward, and there was plenty of air on it, and it just invited the challenge. It made life really difficult for Elliot Daly, who otherwise, with the correct delivery and potentially had they put it through the hands and used the overlap, it would have been so much easier. It's the decision making, isn't it?
I think what makes Wasps such a dangerous team is you know, Lima's ability to sit behind the forwards and spot opportunities out wide, but Leinster just really aren't giving it to them. You know, even then they've had a crack wide, but Leinster are manned up 3-on-3, and you know, it's a forced pass, but it's not really there either way. You know, even with the best pass, that's you know, nothing's guaranteed.
And so from that knock on, Gibson Park just waits to feed that Leinster scrummage, and they will look to play their way out of the spot of bother that they find themselves in due to, well, a better opening 8 minutes of this second half from Wasps, it must be said. Still Leinster leading by 20 points to no score. A similar kind of situation, it seems, down in France between Toulouse and Bath in the other remaining game in this pool, which will just put some clarity on the quarter-final lineup. We'll have that for you in the next half hour or so. The ball is at the feet of Sean O'Brien. It's a very strong and powerful looking Leinster scrummage. Now the two front rows are looking at each other. The ball's come out the back door, and some work to do from the base of that Leinster scrummage, 7 metres out from their own try line for the likes of Jamison Gibson Park initially, who was overpowered, but then Rhys Ruddock, the Leinster captain, Gibson Park, back to his feet, and the ball is at the feet of the Leinster scrum half here, and he hoists up that box kick, and it sails into touch not too far to the right of where we're sitting, and it's still inside the Leinster 22. We're going to see a raft of changes. Looks like Scott Fardy and Andrew Porter are going to come in. We've already seen the introduction of the double centurion Cian Healy, the man who made his 200th Leinster appearance in that game against Thomond at Munster at Thomond Park just a few weeks ago. But the two Leinster replacements are going to have to wait, because Tom Cruise is going to deliver a Wasps line out just inside the Leinster 22. There's plenty of movement in the line, and they take it well. Now what can they do with it is the question. It's a little bit of a speculative ball out towards Lima Sopawanga, who took it well. Robson now. Leinster defensive line up very, very quickly, too quickly for the liking of some of the Wasps supporters around us who felt they might have been offside. Robson into the 22 go Wasp, and the ball with Robson again. Sopawanga claps his hands and takes it in two hands now. Hughes direct and strong, and he's running at James Ryan, and Rhys Ruddock is there to help out his second row. And here they come again, and it's Hughes again. It was Lovabalavu on the previous phase, but Hughes took it even more direct and even more strongly, and they move it away to Will Rowlands now, another of the second rowers. Robson gets it away. Sanvia right in front of the Leinster post here. Opportunity potentially again for Wasps.
Right hit.
The Leinster defence double team tackling, driving the man back through the contact, and they're just holding Wasps at bay time and time again. Now they put a little bit of width on it, and they're testing the outside of the Leinster defence now. Bassett takes it, and they're back in field again. Tyg Furlong this time with a tackle. And here they come now, back once again. Wasps that better hands now. Sopawanga releasing his midfield outside, and Van der Fleer is over the ball. Van der Fleer had his hands on it, but then he was cleaned out just in the nick of time. And here they come again with Carr up to 5 metres, just inside the 15-metre channel on the Wasps' left-hand side. Back inside it goes again from Robson, the scrum half. Penalty coming here for Wasps. Can they find a way through? They look to be over. Somehow they stop them. Leinster's defence holding tight again. That looked to be a certain try, and it is. And Wasps have their reward for their first period of really relentless possession inside the 22, and they come up with a 5-pointer. And there's a real sense of inevitability about it, because quite how Leinster stopped them scoring from the previous phase, I'm not sure. It was either James Ryan or Sean Cryan, or potentially both, but they find a way over at the end of all that, and it's Nathan Hughes who gets the try. And it's taken all this time, but they have their first score of the afternoon, and they've added the extras. 52 minutes, and it's 20 points to 7.
See how dangerous Wasps can be when they look after the ball. 80% of penalties in rugby will go against the defending team, so just that ability to be a bit tougher on the ball and force the opposition to make mistakes, which even the best of teams will do if you're clinical enough.
Well, that was much better from the home side. Devon Toner is making his way off. Scott Vardy is in. I'm just having a look around. I presume Andrew Porter is in. Yes, he is as well. So 20 points to 7, 53 minutes on the watch in Coventry after that try from Nathan Hughes. It was just much better all around from Wasp. It's been a better period, this 30 minutes of the second half. There's been a little bit of bite about them. The recycling from Robson and the distribution was much crisper. And it's his kick from inside his own 22 that is falling into the arms of Jordan Larmour, who took it well, but again he's hit pretty hard in the tackle. A little bit of a better appetite about the kick chase too from Wasps there. Still 13 points the margin. First real involvement of the evening for Andrew Porter off the bench, where most of his rugby has been from this season. He's only started, I think, 3 games all season, but he's been very effective in the final 20-25 minutes of matches, and he's carrying again up over halfway. Ross Byrne into Van der Fleer. He took that very, very directly. Byrne again, and now Henshaw. And over on that far side, Dave Carney. Carney carries up to the Wasps' 10-metre line. And now Cian Healy. Gibson Park. On it goes from Byrne to Josh van der Fleer. Still no Dan Levy available for Leo Cullen. That switch back inside cleverly from Ross Byrne as they just switch up the point of the attack, keep the Wasps defence honest, keep them asking questions and guessing, and they're going to have to come up with answers to stop Jordan Lorimer because he got away from one or two challenges, and Leinster come forward looking menacing again, albeit they're a long way from the try line, but they're right in front of the Wasps post on the 10-metre line, through the hands fluidly from Henshaw wide to Carney. Once again they're using the whole expanse of the pitch and they're testing the fringes of that Wasps defence, and they're getting their big ball carriers involved now with the likes of Cian Healy. Slow coming back to the Leinster scrum half, Gibson Park on this occasion, but now he can see it and dig it out and play it, and he tries that little grubber kick through and it's into touch 6-7 metres out shy of that Wasps try line on the far side. They think about going quickly and they think better of it. 55 minutes on the watch. Leinster leading Wasps by 20 points to 7. We're going to see a change in the back row as Max Deegan comes in, and that's going to be the end of the afternoon for Sean O'Brien. Good to see him back in Leinster colours, and he, as we expected he might, and he always does, give a very good account of himself, chaps.
Absolutely, yeah, no, it's brilliant. It's great for him, it's great for Irish rugby that he's back. You know, perfect timing. It's also great to see Max Deegan. You know, he's a St Michael's College guy. You know, he's an excellent player. Great future for him.
You know, we keep talking about the strength and depth at Leinster in the back row and at an Ireland level as well. And Max Deegan has watched the likes of Keelan Doris coming through the ranks as well and asking a question of him. So you get absolutely no time whatsoever to rest on your laurels, such as the competition for places in this Leinster squad. Sean O'Brien just down beneath us, taking his seat on the bench.
Replacement for Leinster off the field break, Sean O'Brien on his place number 20, Max Deegan.
A change also coming in too for Wasps as they take that line out over on the far side, just 5 metres out from the Leinster line. The ball goes to the deck. Mike Adamson is there and he's happy that it went backwards, and they'll look to get themselves out of this position, find their way onto the scoreboard through that Nathan Hughes try, and almost instinctively, and it seemed Leinster just upped the tempo again with that last attack. That's a poor attempt and a clearance kick from Wasps, and back into heavy traffic up to the 22 goes Dave Carney, using all his strength and belittling his size there against one or two bigger men, made 5 or 6 metres that he might not have on another occasion. Gibson Park now, and here come Leinster into midfield. Henshaw's played really well this afternoon. You talk about the resources that Leinster have, and then you see someone of the calibre of Robbie Henshaw coming back into the fold, and you can see what he brings, that international Lions pedigree, and away goes Jamison Gibson Park, midway inside the Wasps 22, 56 minutes on the watch. Ross Byrne gets one away to Ringrose, and he was well tackled, and Gibson Park saying that there's a Wasp player in there playing the ball illegally, and it's a Leinster penalty, and this will go to touch. Ross Byrne dictating proceedings, and he's 5 metres inside the Wasps 22, and he just hammers one into the stands over on that far side, and it will be another opportunity for Sean Cronin to find as many targets in that Leinster line. Will Stewart is coming in, the tight head replacement meantime for Wasps. Jake Cooper-Woolley, the 29-year-old, who's on his travels again at the end of the season. There's a lot of talk about the players coming and going. I think it was 11 players bought in during the summer, 12 players moved the other way, and it seems it's going to be a revolving door this summer as well. Meantime, 57.5 minutes on the watch. Here come Leinster in search of try number 3 from a similar position from where Sean Cronin scored their second of the afternoon. And eventually they're going to get their third try of the afternoon, because they go barreling over that try line from the line out maul. Absolutely nothing that Wasps can do about it, and it's only a case of confirming the fact that it's probably going to be Sean Cronin with his second of the afternoon. It certainly is, and it's his 6th of the European campaign, and it's his 37th for Leinster. It's ridiculous how prolific he is, but when you're at the base of a maul like that, a driving line out maul from 5 metres, there is only one outcome. Brilliant score.
Yeah, fantastic work from Leinster there. They've shown how deadly they can be when they get into that 22 with their maul. But silly errors from Wasps. Silly penalty here. Outside the 22, they've got Leinster contained. They need to trust their defence like Leinster's doing so well. But unfortunately, silly penalty into the corner, and that'll be 5 with a chance for 7 points to Leinster.
So the congratulations and the plaudits go to Sean Cronin, but once again that's another wonderful set piece, orchestrated piece of cohesion and fluency, right from the delivery to the line out take, and everyone knows exactly where they would be. The body positions are perfect, and once they get any kind of momentum, well, the Wasps rearguard is on wheels. Third try of the afternoon comes on 59 minutes, and Ross Byrne from this right hand side, that's a really, really good strike. That's his best of the afternoon from Ross Byrne, and it's another 2 points, and the margin is back to 20 points, because as we approach the final quarter of the game in Coventry, Leinster lead Wasps by 27 points to 7. So Nathan Hughes meantime is going off, and Ashley Johnson comes in, a man who can play in multiple positions around the field, and he's not easy to miss, both in terms of his bulk and his size and his hairdo.
Another excellent box kick again from Gibson Park. Dave Carney up there to meet us. Leinster get the ball back on the 10 metre line. It's been a professional job, for the first 60 minutes. Just done the simple things really well. They're good, really good side, this Leinster team.
So we've played 61 minutes here. They've played 65 minutes in France, where it remains Toulouse 17, Bath 3. Just those 2 tries.
Yeah, a few tactical knock-ons, I reckon, there from
They must be listening to you, Brendan, though.
Well, it is. It's something that struck me immediately as the results were coming in over across the weekend, and we bemoaned the fact that we had the potential this time last night that we were going to see 3 of the 4 quarter-finals effectively being rematches from games already played in the pool system, and I don't think anybody would want that. But nonetheless, when you run the risk when you play games on a Sunday at 3 o'clock and everything's already been decided, that you can effectively pick and choose maybe Toulouse as to whether they want to go and play Racing in Paris or they want to go to the Aviva and play the defending champions.
Hey, well, more power to you. I mean, if you're good enough to win a game and dictate the scoreline, you probably deserve to pick your quarterfinals, though. Well,
as you said, we were talking at halftime, it is counterintuitive. It's difficult as a professional athlete when to go out and say, we want to boss the game, keep the door closed, don't let Bath back into it, but maybe not push on for 4 tries. So perhaps we should just give some credit to the Bath defence. Meantime, Leinster have their hands on it. There's a forest of bodies in there. The ball's not coming back on the Leinster side, so it's going to be put into the Wasp scrum for Dan Robson, the former Gloucester man who's hoping to get an England cap, I think, from Eddie Jones, who is here watching in Coventry today during the Six Nations, potentially at the expense of the likes of Ben Youngs or Danny Kerr. I think his father, Mr. Robson Sr., sat on the England bench 5 times and never got a cap, so his son is looking to go one better. Again, another player who's been very, very unlucky with injury. You thought he might get in and around England caps, and then he ruptured his ankle ligaments and broke his arm last autumn.
Yeah, poor guy was away in South Africa with him this summer, and unfortunately they went with Ben Spencer and Ben Youngs, but I reckon he'll definitely feature in the Six Nations coming up, and Irish supporters, Irish fans will get to see what he's like when he comes to the Aviva.
And they do have so much talent. You look even at the back line today, and you can count on one hand the amount of times we've mentioned the likes of Lova Balavu and Michele Campagnaro, like quality players who, given the right correct type of ball, it can be very, very dangerous, but it's not every week you come up against this Leinster rearguard.
No, it's not, and those guys are just are desperate for one-on-ones, but as you said, their touches have been limited, and Campagnaro is obviously an Italian international. I'd love to see him get the ball in his hands with some space in front of him.
The man who played 3 seasons at Exeter before he was let go, picked up very quickly by Jai Young. I think he actually captained Italy against Ireland in Chicago and scored a try in that game. I think I should remember because I commentated on it, but I'm fairly sure he did. He's played 36 times for his country, the former Treviso man. Now Wasps have it right on halfway. Sapawanga looks to get that back line moving again. Leinster defence is across pretty quickly and very strongly, but they've got a different obstacle in front of them now in the shape of Ashley Johnson. 130 plus kilograms, took that at pace, and Wasps now asking more questions, shall we say, in this second half of this Leinster defence. Max Deegan goes in with the tackle, the ball with Robson again. They're 5 metres outside the Leinster 22 and they're making progress, even on their hands and knees on that occasion through the tackle. Leinster player on the wrong side is Max Deegan, but it's there for Robson. Oh, that's brilliant from the scrum half. Oh, that's a wonderful little try. Testing the pillar defence of Leinster. He had a little show and go, dropped the shoulder, and he just waltzed through into open country, and he was gone beyond Jordan Larmour before he even realised he was there. Typical scrum half, sniping scrum half's try, and Wasps have their second of the afternoon. Andrew Porter was there, but he couldn't lay a glove on him, and he just used his pace to go in unattended beside the posts.
Yeah, Leinster will be disappointed with that one, but good pressure from Wasps, to get into Leinster's 22 and just to hold on to the ball, build phases, and eventually wait for that creak in the armour.
Quickly about their business with the conversion attempt, which is good from Sapawanga, and it's now 27 points to 14. It is not often you see the Leinster defence from that kind of situation switch off, but switch off they did.
Takes the score to Wasps 14, Leinster 27.
You've got to be expecting that your scrum half will be trying to sniff out those opportunities.
And 15
and he did.
Are in their places, but 22.
A couple of changes.
And 23.
Billy Searle and Marcus Watson coming in for Lima Sapawanga and Rob Miller, so changes at fly half and at fullback for Wasps, who've got themselves back to within 13 points of the European champions. 64 minutes on the watch, 3 tries to 2 in Leinster's favour.
Wasps have come out a lot better in the second half. Brendan, what sort of reaction would you have expected from Dai Young at half time as a manager? Would he have gotten stuck into the Wasps team, or is he more cool, calm and collected?
He's cool, calm and collected, but he would have said that the 15 fellas who are out there are probably playing within themselves, and there's, as everyone knows, the calibre of players Wasps have. The players themselves would have said that. So it's great to see that it's much better this second half, and that's an unbelievable tackle from Gabby Balavu and Ross Byrne. Read the play really nicely.
Yeah, it was a little switch pass back inside from Rory O'Loughlin, who's come in for Leinster, and Ross Byrne was lined up by Lova Balavu, and he was hit pretty hard, and he is he's very, very slow to get back to his feet now. He's right on the halfway line, and the Leinster physio has come in pretty quickly to attend to the fly half. Just going to see it again on the screen. 3 or 4 yard pass, so it's high.
That's dangerous. Yeah, he could be in trouble here. I think the fact that Ross Byrne's ducking may help him with the colour of the card, but I reckon there could be a card coming Gabby's way.
Definitely seen cards for less anyway.
It's almost that the level of impact that potentially is coming through from Gabby Lova-Balavu is lessened by the fact that Byrne does his best to duck out of the tackle almost, but nonetheless it is quite dangerous, and it is high, and he looks a little bit groggy, and I think at worst he's probably going to have to go off for a HIA, is he?
I think so. Able replacement and no Reid to come on though. Lovely footballer, great, beautiful, really nice catch pass game. He'll want to throw it around if he gets his chance. Looks like he is.
Yeah, that could well be the end of the afternoon for Ross Byrne. We will see, but in the meantime, Noel Reid is coming in. We're also looking at Robbie Henshaw in conversation on that Leinster bench now, having been replaced by Rory O'Loughlin. And judging by the length of time it's taken Ross Byrne to leave the field, I don't think we're going to see him again. 25 minutes to go. He'll be assessed. Noel Reid is on. No further action from Mike Adamson.
Yeah, I think Love Blava would be thanking his lucky stars that there wasn't any further action.
And he didn't go upstairs to the TMO even for a look. TMO today, Neil Patterson, who's not been in use as of yet. James Tracy, by the way, has come in to replace the 2-try scoring Sean Cronin. And Tracy has it from a Leinster line-out, and he's at the base of a very effective Leinster maul. Adam Byrne comes around to give Jamison Gibson Park potentially the option on the short side, and the scrum half tries to wriggle free from his opposite number, Dan Robson, and Leinster are back up onto that Wasps 22, and that's a great latch on from Andrew Porter onto the back of James Ryan. Carries the momentum into the Wasps 22. They're now edging towards the middle of the pitch, out in front of the post. So Loughlin just got away from one or two tacklers and shoveled wide by Gibson Park, and they're calling for numbers back on the other side. Leinster recycling here. 67 minutes on the watch. They lead Wasps by 27 points to 14. 3 tries to 2. Ringrose, oh, that's brilliant feat from Ringrose. He's so evasive, he's so elusive, and that's quickly put through and stabbed through into the in-goal area by Noel Reid. Well, there was nobody on the end of it from a Leinster point of view.
Great stepping again, like you said, from Guy Ringrose. He's so lethal off that right foot step, and if the defences aren't connected, you know, it's his dream as he goes waltzing through there.
He was so good last week, and Leinster were so good defensively for the 50-60 minutes principally that they had to be to shut out Toulouse, and his management of the backline really in defensive situations. He made 3 or 4 man and ball tackles that were absolutely brilliant. Such an intuitive and intelligent player. Leo Cullen and the Leinster backroom staff will go to great pains to tell you that he spends a huge amount of time going through the VT analysis. It's not by as much as he is an instinctive player. He works extremely hard at his game. As right on cue, we get a shot of Stuart Lancaster and Leo Cullen on the monitor away to the right hand side. 67 minutes in, they lead 27-14. They'll be reasonably happy, although they'll be disappointed with the Dan Robson try.
I'd say it's a tight head props nightmare, Jordan Larmour coming back at you from a loose kick like that.
Well, he was stopped just inside the Wasps half of the pitch, and here's another nightmare for the Wasps defence, is the rampaging Cian Healy with those legs pumping, knees almost up to his chest, and Max Deegan, and that's brilliant, back inside. Here comes another try. Leinster are in again, and it is the bonus point, and it was coming because they just cut through time and time again. And the 4th try has come from the replacement fly half, Noel Reid, and he took it well. He was there in the right place at the right time to finish it off.
The initial burst out from Cian Healy, he was like a runaway train going into that gap, and then lovely from Max Deegan. You know, as we touched on that before, he's got a great future ahead of him, linking up with his schoolmate Rory O'Loughlin.
Nice little reverse pass back inside for O'Loughlin, who was involved in the move on a couple of occasions, and Noel Reid with the finishing score. And they have the try bonus point. We've got 10 minutes to go. They lead 32-14, and it'll be Noel Reid to try and add the extras and convert his own try. Well over 100 appearances for Leinster. Made his 100th appearance in the game against Conancht done in Galway last April, and he gets the 2 extra. 34 points to 14. It's comprehensive and emphatic, as we felt it might be, with the greatest respect to Wasps, because it's a juggernaut of a Leinster
On in his place number 21, Craig Hampson.
A couple of changes coming in for Wasps as well. Craig Hampson is coming in wearing 21. Di Young trying to freshen things up for the last 10 minutes. Well, they got 52 back in October in the game we spoke about, match day 1 of this competition at the RDS, and they're not a million miles away from that kind of range again. Leinster 8 tries on that evening, 4 already. You definitely feel there's 5 or 6 in this Leinster team. Wasps, for their money, could just do with getting their hands on it and trying to slow Leinster down, if anything. Perhaps attack is the best form of defence. Here's Johnson. He ran straight into Rhys Ruddock, knocked him backwards, and Wasps have recycled, and they made a little bit of ground up into the Leinster half of the field and over the 10-metre line. And now they look to get moving Rowlands, and they move it through the hands with Billy Searle. Hampson now. Leinster's defensive set ready to go, and their line speed, even though we've played 71 minutes, is still very, very good, as you would imagine it would be. And just momentarily, Wasps had the potential of an overlap on this near side right in front of us, and crucially the ball didn't go to hand. That's probably 4 or 5 handling errors. It just feels like it's more because 2 or 3 of them have been in the so-called red zone or very close to it.
And speaking of Gary Ringrose there, you know, the Leinster are numbers down. Wasps go through the hands, beat them on the outside. Gary Ringrose does a great job, gets right up in the attacker's face, spooks him into having a look. The Wasps attacker looks up, drops the ball.
So we will go again with a Leinster scrummage. 72 minutes on the watch, comfortably on course for a home quarter final. And the scoreline has changed in France, but it's not changed for the better for Toulouse, because Wasps have manufactured a score, and they've eaten into the deficit. Last time we were talking, it was pretty comfortable. It's 20 points to 10 now, Toulouse. So they've got a try from Ruckett Ngani, which was converted by Rhys Priestland, and Thomas Ramos has come back with a penalty on 70 minutes for Toulouse. So a 10-point margin, still just the 2 tries. So at the moment, as it stands, it's going to be Leinster-Ulster, with Toulouse going away to Paris to play Racing. That is all subject to change over the course of the last 7 or 8 minutes, as it is here anyway, where Leinster have scored 4 tries to Wasps 2, and they lead by 34 points to 14. And it's been that kind of margin all afternoon, and it wouldn't flatter the visitors at all, the European champions. Really good tackling midfield there from Rory O'Loughlin, as they're looking to repel the latest of Wasps' threats. And it's another one of those just misguided passes, the communication and the fluency not there, and the ball goes from hand into touch over on the far side. And that is it's the gulf in class. It goes without saying, but also from a Wasps point of view, it'll be frustrating for Di Young. Hugh O'Sullivan, by the way, has come in. Former Belvedere College scrum half, replacing Jamison Gibson Park, who I think he's been exceptional today.
Absolutely, yeah, it's been brilliant. His box kicking's been outstanding. The management of his pack's been brilliant. I'm really looking forward to seeing him, hopefully in an Irish jersey.
26-year-old, the former Mario All Black.
Jake, what do you reckon the best way to break down this Leinster defence would be?
I think first of all you have to look after the ball. I think when you analyse Leinster as a team, they're so clinical in so many areas. They have a great set piece. They're very solid on defence. Physical, good in the air. So being able to enforce your will on a team like this is extremely important. And I think we've seen glimpses of that from Wasps tonight. When they've looked after the ball, Leinster will often give you an edge. They'll often give you a bit of space out wide to attack, but you've got to be good enough to get there. So I think being able to trust yourself, trust your team, and look after the ball and really have a go at those spaces in saying that, it's it's not easily done, and today I think the scores sort of reflected the execution from both teams, and Wasps just haven't quite been able to do it.
Yeah, like you said, keeping the ball though is just massive again, and matching their physicality. I'll say as well, the bench that Leinster can afford to bring on in these games. You got Scott Fardy, quality Wallabies international, James Tracy, obviously Max Deegan. It's just class upon class upon class.
There's no let off, is there? There's no let off in intensity and execution. An extremely professional performance, and like you say, Wasps just haven't been able to get their foot into this game, unfortunately.
Yeah, even just doing a little bit of rough mathematics, they've probably brought on somewhere in the region of 150 caps worth of test match standard, which is it's difficult when you're on that Wasps team out there.
And even on top of that, I think Leinster would use their bench as much as any team, in this competition, and it goes to show their strength and depth and the quality and trust they have as well.
Ball's been kicked through into the Leinster 22, where it's been knocked on by Jordan Larmour. Bath have helped themselves to another try. Gervin Dempsey masterminding a Bath comeback down in France, so the Leinster tentacles extend a long way across Europe. 2 tries in the space of 15 minutes in the second half.
What would that mean if Bath ended up beating Toulouse?
It would be very significant.
Because they wouldn't be going to Dublin then, would they? Or Paris?
They would still be going to, let me just get this absolutely correct. It would mean Ulster would be at the Aviva against Leinster. Where would that leave us in terms of the runners-up? I'll just double check that when my internet decides to play a game. There's a lot of internet. I'd say it's a lot of the Leinster supporters around the Ricoh Arena are having a look at exactly what's going on down in France, because they're in the final minute and Toulouse are hanging on. They lead by 20 points to 17. We've played a little bit less than that here, 76 minutes, where it's altogether more straightforward. But more about that very shortly indeed, because here come Wasps midway inside the Leinster 22 on the attack. Ashley Johnson, and it's recycled quickly. They move it from Hampson, Craig Hampson, the scrum half, recycling the ball from the base of the ruck quickly and with a sense of urgency, and there's a Leinster hand on that. Scott Fardy, we saw his experience so many times in the dying embers of the game against Toulouse and in crucial junctures last week, and even almost giving away a penalty there. Here they come with Hampson again. Now, can they potentially find a route to go wide? Lovabalavu, brilliantly done. That's really well worked, and they do have their try from Marcus Watson. Third try of the afternoon for Wasps. Lovabalavu involved. Quick ball from Hampson, and they expose the Leinster defence right in front of us here on the wide outside, and they get their third try of the afternoon.
Alan Bird would be disappointed with that wing defence there. I think the guy inside him had Gabi Lovabalavu covered. Didn't need to step in last minute.
So 2 minutes to go, and they've reduced the arrears, and the conversion attempt, if it has the legs, it didn't quite. The line was good, but the length not quite. 19 points to 34. As we look at it again, they found that little bit of space, and this time they had a little bit more composure. Lovabalavu's offload to Watson was much better, and he stayed in field and he dots it down. So Noel Reid, having scored a try and converted it, gets us back underway, but Wasps hit back again, and it'll be interesting to get Leo Cullen's thoughts on the tries that they've conceded this afternoon from Leinster's point of view, because they've been a little bit sloppy. Rhys Ruddock is over the ball, and he's got his hands on it, and he's looking to turn it over. And play is outside that 22, and the referee is there, and what's he going to indicate here? It's a Leinster penalty. 16,000 is the confirmed attendance. Chaps are in the final minute. Your thoughts overall, Brendan, if it were to finish like this, 34 points to 19 on both sides?
Leinster, how they've been in the in the previous rounds, efficient, clinical. They took their opportunities. Their maul was really, really good today. I say they'd be pretty happy with they'd be pretty happy with their outing in Coventry.
Jake, what have you made of?
Yeah, look, I think Leinster have they've been far more clinical. They've definitely been the better team here. Wasps have barely been in the game, and yet they've got 19 points, and that just shows the quality they have in their individuals. But Leinster have just been too strong as a unit, and Wasps haven't been able to deal with that.
Great to see the internationals, Robbie Henshaw and Sean O'Brien, also getting through some good work, getting some minutes under their belts, leading into Six Nations.
You're very promising for Ireland in the Six Nations. Any early predictions?
Well, the penalty goes over.
Just slam, isn't it? Please God, that would be great feeding into the World Cup. England did a Grand Slam when they won the World Cup, so that'd be great.
So Noel Reid slots that penalty, and it'll be final score as Mike Addison blows the whistle. Leinster 37, Wasps 19. We're just waiting on final confirmation of whether or not things in France have finished. So we'll just carry on. Sorry, you were saying about the Six Nations, and it's only a couple of weeks away, and we base things on how the provinces are doing, and everyone through to the quarterfinals, all four provinces, including of course Conancht in the Challenge Cup, and they're looking pretty good at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Irish rugby's just in great set at the moment. I'm really looking forward to this Six Nations. It's going to be a great battle with England in a couple of weeks' time, and it sets it up nicely for the World Cup.
Another man that's had his name spoken a fair bit here, man of the match tonight, Jameson Gibson Park, very well deserved. I think he was excellent, moving the ball very quickly, and his box kicks have really put Leinster under a lot of pressure. So.
Well, the game's over in France. Toulouse have held on to beat Bath by 20 points to 17, so it will be an Irish interprovincial quarter-final at the Aviva Stadium between Leinster and Ulster, and it means that Toulouse, having failed to get 4 tries and that bonus point, albeit they do have the win, they will go to Paris to play Racing in the quarter-finals. Edinburgh will play Munster, and it'll be Saracens against Glasgow, so very, very interesting quarter-final lineup.
Absolutely. The All Irish game is going to be great. It's going to be brilliant. It's going to be right after Six Nations. So the bit of tension between the provinces will definitely be there.
Plenty of an Ulster contingent, or a Leinster contingent rather, currently plying their trade. No mate of yours, Jordy Murphy, of course, up at Ulster, and probably from an Ulster point of view, not giving anything away with the accent, but if you asked an Ulsterman, would you rather, or could you get more up for a game in Dublin against Leinster rather than going to Paris? There might be something in that as well.
Absolutely, definitely. Like Ulster, is starting to go really well under Dan McFarlane. Speaking to Jordy, he's got nothing but praise for Dan and his backroom staff, and I think their win yesterday in Welford Road was a bloody tough place to go. Come out victors there is great. So it's going to be a great game.
On the basis of what you've seen, just to finish up, Jake, over the course of this season's competition and coming through that pool stage as they did, though, Leinster is still very much the benchmark.
Yeah, I think so. Look, I think they have been for a couple of years now, and look, that's just shining through, and the depth of players we've seen tonight as well. We've seen 23 players play some excellent rugby. You can't see them losing too many.
Okay, guys, it's been a real pleasure. Jake, Brendan, thanks very much indeed. And with that, on the final score of 37 points to 19 for Leinster, a home quarter final against Ulster at the Aviva at the end of the March. Let's go back to the studio and Joe.
Conor, lovely stuff. Thanks so much. We'll grab a quick word with Brendan and Jake again in just a few moments' time. Confirmation as things stand. In fact, not as things stand, as things are. The quarter-final pairings are Saracens against Glasgow. That's number 1 against number 8. We have Munster travelling to Edinburgh, 4th against 5th. Richard Cockrell doing a fantastic job at Edinburgh. We saw them beat Montpellier on Friday night. So Ulster will travel to Edinburgh for the quarter-finals. Leinster will host Ulster. So Leinster-Ulster in Dublin will be a huge occasion. And then Toulouse, I want to see this game back and see how hard they pushed for the bonus point. They were 20 points to 3 up at half-time with 2 tries. That meant, as things stood, they were away to Racine. If they scored 2 more tries and got the bonus point, they would be away to Leinster. As things developed, they didn't actually score at all in the second half, let alone 2 tries. And Bath came roaring back into it to get within 3 points. So Toulouse playing with fire in that second half. In the end, it finished Toulouse 20, Bath 17 points. So Toulouse finished up on 21 points, second to Leinster in Pool 1, who finished up on 25. The net result of all of that is that it's an all-French quarter-final in Paris. Racine, who finished number 2 in the seedings, will host Toulouse, number 7 in the seedings in Paris. That'll be some game at the U Arena. So again, Saracens Glasgow. We have Munster away to Edinburgh. We have Leinster at home to Ulster, and then an all-French quarter-final, Racine at home to Toulouse. Meanwhile, in the Premier League, Spurs against Fulham. They're at Craven Cottage. Fulham went a 1-0 up on 17 minutes. Llorente with an own goal. Dele Alli has scored in the 51st minute to make it 1-1 between Fulham and Spurs. About 56 minutes gone in that game. Short break, we're back with plenty more.
Wasps versus Leinster, live from the Ricoh Arena.
On Off the Ball. Tech Talk with Jess Kelly.
Coming up this week, we look at how technology has transformed the casino floor in Las Vegas. We ask what a table tennis playing robot can teach us about the future, and Irish company Drop want to take the stress out of meal prep.
Tech Talk with Jess Kelly.
Thanks to Harvey Norman.
Download the podcast now or tune in this evening at 6.
On News Talk.
5 years warranty. 5 years roadside assistance. 3% APR.
The Renault van range with the Renault Traffic, Master and Kangoo. Great 191 van offers to get your engine going from just €215 per month. Visit your local Renault dealer today.
Finance is made under a hire purchase agreement. Terms and conditions apply. Deposit required subject to lending criteria. See Renault.ie.
Having a flutter? Top tip, QuinBet.com. Ireland's newest online sportsbook and casino. For all your horse racing, football, casino and more, QuinBet has you covered. With live in-play markets on mobile, PC and app. QuinBet.com. Terms and conditions apply. Gamble responsibly. Visit gambleaware.ie.
The world has changed. How we connect is less this and more this. It's about time finance changed too. At Linked Finance, we're revolutionising the way lending works for Irish SMEs. With easy online applications, same-day decisions, and funds available within days. This is business lending for a digital age, and its time has come. Apply now or find out more at linkedfinance.com.
At Blackrock Clinic, we offer direct access to our expert team of endoscopy specialists. So if you're concerned about a stomach or bowel issue, we can quickly find the cause and whether it's serious or not. With a referral from your GP, an appointment can be arranged within 24 hours. For access to a world-class endoscopy unit, think first. Think Blackrock Clinic. Blackrock Clinic. When your experience needs ours.
Start the new year in style with lakeside walks, cosy fires and affordable luxury. Treat yourself to a New Year break at the Sleeve Russell Hotel, County Cavan. Get 2 nights bed and breakfast plus 1 evening meal from just €149 per person sharing. Book now. Call 049 9526 444 or visit our website sleeverussell.ie. Terms and conditions apply.
The Harvey Norman Big Sale continues with further discounts and big savings on beds and mattresses. Big savings on bedroom furniture, up to 60% off. Big savings on mattresses, starting from $129. Big savings on home accessories, up to 50% off bed linen. Plus, low prices on upholstered beds, wardrobes and bedroom furniture. Incredible savings and easy ways to pay, with up to 36 months interest-free finance terms available. The Harvey Norman Big Sale, in store and online. Don't miss out.
Go! Terms and conditions apply. See harveynorman.ie/finance.
With a new car ad every minute on Done Deal, it's easy to choose one that's right for you. Whether you're planning the ultimate road trip or the school pickup, find the perfect car for any adventure on Done Deal. Discover and drive.
You've got a good career,
So how about transforming it into an exceptional one? One distinguished by change, leadership and success. An MBA from UCD Smurfit School can be the first step. Come along to our MBA Experience Day on Saturday, January 26th from 9 a.m. The event will feature an MBA taste lecture, a leadership development session, an MBA careers panel discussion and the opportunity to meet with current students and alumni. Register at smurfitschool.ie/events. UCD Michael Smurfit Graduate Business School. Business imagined better together.
Football Index is reinventing football betting. You can buy and sell the world's top players. Their value may go up and down, but it's not over with the final whistle like a regular bet. Football Index, reinventing football betting.
Start building your portfolio today at footballindex.co.uk or download the app now. New customers only, minimum deposit and conditions apply. Gamble responsibly.
This is it. After years I've been rolled up within an inch of my life, I'm free!
Receipts have a mind of their own. Go paperless and manage your travel expenses online with My Taxi Business. Make the smarter choice at mytaxi.com.
Mattresses-delivered.ie. Nationwide delivery within 48 hours for free. That's mattresses-delivered.ie. Lowest prices guaranteed. Don't forget the hyphen. T's and C's apply.
The Ryanair seat sale is here. Book your next holiday getaway from only $19.99 one way. Visit Ryanair.com and choose from over 200 destinations. Ryanair. Low fares made simple. Limited availability, see Ryanair.com.
Thinking of finance for a new car? Then visit mypcp.ie first. A new website brought to you by Renault to help answer all your questions about PCPs and tackle any myths you may have heard. In just a few clicks, you can estimate your current car's value and match it with a new personal contract plan. Get closer to the car you want. See mypcp.ie today. Finance is made under a hire purchase. Terms and conditions apply. Deposit required subject to lending criteria. See mypcp.ie.
Off the ball. This is News Talk.
Max Deegan, and that's brilliant. Back inside. Here comes another try. Leinster are in again. And it is the bonus point. And it was coming because they just cut through time and time again. And the fourth try has come from the replacement fly half, Noel Reid. And he took it well. He was there in the right place at the right time to finish it off.
Yeah, it was a fantastic move, that final Leinster try. 37 points to 19. They've beaten Wasps at the Ricoh Arena. They have topped their pool. They've secured a home quarter final. Elsewhere in the Heineken Champions Cup this afternoon, Toulouse beat Bath 20 points to 17. No bonus point for Toulouse. Leinster did get the bonus point. In the Premier League at the moment, 1-1 between Fulham and Spurs, 64 minutes on the clock at Craven Cottage. And what it all means, in short, is that we have our quarter-final pairings. So Saracens against Glasgow in quarter-final 1. We have Munster travelling to Edinburgh for their quarter-final. We have an all-Irish affair, Leinster against Ulster. And then we have an all-French affair, Racing against Toulouse. So that is how the quarterfinals are shaping up. On commentary, we had Brendan Macken, formerly, of course, of Leinster and Wasps, and now at London Irish, and Jake Heenan, formerly of Conancht, now at Bristol. We're both watching that game. So, lads, your reaction to the quarterfinal pairings, in particular, Munster going to Edinburgh. Richard Cockrell is doing really good things at the moment, and we'll get on to Leinster-Ulster in a moment. But Munster going to Edinburgh, Brendan. I don't know how much you've seen of Edinburgh, but they've really turned their fortunes around under Cockrell. That will be far from easy.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and people are saying in the media over here that they'd like to see, Cockrell get the English job, and he said he wants to make a difference at Edinburgh, and he's most definitely done that. And to be fair, their game has completely changed from what it was a couple of years ago. So that'll be a tough game for Munster. But the way they played last night, and they were against Gloucester the week before, I still think they should come out on top.
They were very different Munster performances, weren't they? Last night was tryless at home, and about, it seemed, digging in and almost a resolve just to get it done when they didn't have their best stuff. And then Kingsholm, you were seeing several tries, and we're seeing flowing rugby. They were very different performances. The worry might be with Munster that they might lack a touch of creativity in the bigger games.
I don't know. I think the way Joey Carbery's playing at the moment, and the way he was against Gloucester, he was absolutely outstanding. And the two wingers they got, Andrew Conway and Keith Earls are playing some great stuff at the moment, and they're so physical and abrasive up front. And I think when the time's right, they do have that bit of creativity in their locker, which they will bring out.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw the game last night. It was kind of a strange game. In the first half, Munster, Jake, had 1% of territory in the Exeter 22. They just found it very hard to get off the pitch. I don't know if you managed to catch the game.
Yeah, I did see bits of it. Look, it was very attritional, wasn't it? And I think, looking forward to that quarter-final against Edinburgh. That's what Edinburgh pride themselves on, as being a very physical team, and I think Munster's ability to match that, probably as well as any team in this tournament, will see them do really well.
How have Edinburgh changed their game then, Brendan, over the last few years? You mentioned they had.
Just they're more expansive than they were. Added to the fact they have that kind of Leicester Tigers kind of toughness and hardness that Cockerell's brought. They've gone to their maul quite a bit. Their pick and go. They just seem, I don't know, like they've just gone. They've gone into another gear under Cockerell.
It's a serious step up for Scottish rugby. Glasgow in the knockout stages as well. With the Six Nations coming into view, Jake, they've been talked about a few times, Scotland, as dark horses. Like they're almost the most hyped up dark horses of any dark horses in any competition ever. Last year again, they got off to a terrible start against Wales and just flattered to deceive too often. Very good at home though. Can Scotland do something in this year's Six Nations?
Yeah, look, I certainly hope so. We've seen some awesome glimpses of them on the international stage, and especially being a World Cup year, they've everything to play for. So, look, let's just hope they can bring that form through from the provincial teams and have a real crack and try to get some big scalps in this Six Nations. Not Ireland, of course, but
let's not hope too much. Yeah,
they can beat England.
Ireland go there in the second week, so Ireland have England to kick off with, and then Murrayfield, quick turnaround, feels a bit sneaky, that second game, I must say, Jake.
It's not it's not an easy fixture list, but look, it is what it is, and I suppose if you're you're competing in a tournament as tough as that, it's never going to be easy. So and look, what we've seen tonight too, we've seen the resources that Ireland have, and I don't think they've got anything to be worried about in terms of bringing players in, and if different guys need to play games and play some minutes, I think they'll do it quite comfortably.
Okay, so before we leave Edinburgh and Munster, am I sensing then you're both tipping Munster to get it done one way or another?
Yes,
I think so. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I think that physicality that they have, but with the way Joey Carberry's running that back line as well, they're a very dangerous team.
He's 20 for 20 kicks at the moment as well, which is no mean feat. Brendan, Leinster today, for people who didn't get a chance to watch the game or catch the commentary with yourselves, how would you sum up the performance?
It was a professional job, to be fair. In the grand scheme of things, the game didn't really mean too much to both sides. Wasps couldn't qualify and Leinster were already through, but I think when they didn't have the ball, they were very comfortable defending. Wasps threw shot after shot against them, but I think Leinster just kind of comfortably ate them up after a shot. And when they had the ball, they were clinical. They took their chance as well. They scored 2 maul tries, and I just think Leinster are so dangerous when they get into an opposition's 22. They go through the gears, they get up, and I don't think Wasps could really live with their physicality.
It was for sure physicality. Even the speed of the opening few minutes, Leinster almost dictated the pace of the thing. They can do that almost at a level very few can in this competition, in terms of just speed of breakdown work and speed of pass.
Yeah, it's like they have a call that they say amongst themselves, and everyone knows what's going to happen next. And to be fair, Gibson Park I think he was awarded man of the match, and he definitely deserved that. He was brilliant. He was brilliant this afternoon, and he marshalled his team really well.
And so we're saying defensively they're very good. That said, they conceded 19 points. One of them, I think it was Porter, maybe got caught by the number 9. Just off a breakdown. He took a step to his right and the 9 swooped in. The other points, anything to worry there from a Leinster point of view defensively?
Not particularly, I don't think. Look, they're little errors, but they're very fixable. We spoke about Marcus Watson's try down here in the corner, and it's just a case of a little bit of trust on the outside. Possibly some new combinations coming in. So, look, I don't think Leinster looked under any real pressure at all during that game. you know, there was obviously times where it opened up a little bit, but look, definitely no red flags moving forward anyway.
Yeah. What about Ulster then? Have you been impressed with them this season? I don't know how much you've seen of them.
I've actually seen him, seen a good bit of them, to be fair. A good buddy of mine, Jordy Murphy's gone up there. You know, I think I watched them yesterday. I thought they were really good yesterday, especially when John Cooney came on. You know, I don't want to give him too much plaudits because his head's already the size of.
He won't fit into the stadium, will he?
Yeah, I don't know.
He's suddenly pushing for a place on the bench as well across the Six Nations, given the injury situation.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and to be fair, he's starting to tick nicely, and he made his side tick nicely when he came on. And
what did he do, Brendan? How did he change the game?
They just looked really. I think his presence, you know, when he came on, his presence, you know, the guys around him just calmed down nicely. He put them in the right areas. He made his kicks contestable for Stockdale and the other winger, and you know, he kicked his goals. And I think when they scored their try, he was heavily involved in that, and numerous touches and, you know, for their try. So I think he's just he's almost like you know, in France he's like the little general for them.
Yeah.
Little.
We've seen Stockdale do his thing for quite some time now. I think he's 6 tries for 6 across the Champions Cup group stages. And even Stockdale was saying, this guy on the other wing, Balakoon, he's faster than me. He's unbelievable. He's played sevens rugby for Ireland. He's still 21. He said yesterday he did not expect to be in this position, you know, getting first team rugby, scoring tries in the Champions Cup. He feels like this has all happened a little bit ahead of schedule.